Hello, hello, lovely people. I think I'm about ready to join y'all. Just finishing something up real quick. Real quick. There. We are on. We are on. Yeah, we are now. What is up, everybody? Got it going. I think you can hear me now, right? Yeah. You should be able to hear me now. We got it. I think, yeah, I just had it muted. I actually muted it real quick to crack open a beer, and then I did not unmute. So, my bad. My bad. As I always say, bad streamer, bad streamer, bad streamer. But what is up, everybody? I was just saying we got some stuff to go over. We got the third night of the PTR. Actually, the PTR is still up. I had to get out of it so that I could come stream. Um, they've left it on for a lot longer than they have the last couple nights because I think they're collecting some server data still for disconnects primarily. So, um, but yeah, we were. Well, I did run over to Samia's Hope, and had recognized a sort of real quick. I wasn't the only one. A global chat message of "What's up, Trent?" of "Please stay in Lionhold." They were working on more so networking within Lionhold and disconnects and a bunch of that shit. Um, but I did go briefly over into Samia's Hope. Right now, there's really nothing over there to content perspective. I'm sure they have a build that hopefully they will stand up Friday with us. But as of right now, there was not much in there. There was Ember Spring, um, a bunch of sort of tent looking buildings, and that was about it. Actually, it spread out pretty far. I will say the whole area was pretty broad. Whereabouts is it? It is sort of east of where we would blind hold. So actually, if you can follow my head here, my thoughts. I don't know how many of you have played. When you when hold up, I'm trying to get everything going. When so when you leave Lionhold and you go, I think it is north, right? And you have the goblin camps to the north. You can either kind of go straight north or you can go northeast. The northeast is where you have the commission board goblin things that you have to kill. It's where one of those boundary lines are that everybody sort of everything poofs, if you know what I'm talking about. And you go all the way across that, you come upon a burning event that is a burning caravan. It's like a 3-stage event. So to the south of that event, um, there was an entryway that has been gated this whole time. All of pre-alpha 2 stress testing last weekend. It's a big doorway, but it's been gated. The gate is no longer there. So that gate is now, yeah, they're with the red wall right behind it. Yep, that gate as a PTR was not there anymore. So that is where you run to in order to get to Samia's Hope. So it's actually not that far away from where you start in Lionhold, which surprises me a little bit. Um, but it's really not that far away. So, but apparently far enough that the whole reason they're trying to stand it up is so that we have a little bit less of the queuing issues. Um, did not have a chance to like actually choose where to spawn into tonight, so every character just spawned into the normal area. Um, but yeah, got to run in there and see it. There's a beach, um, but just not much there right now. So, what's up, Life and Stuffs? Is Simia's Hope also in yes, also in Riverlands. So, it sounds very close. To be honest, I thought it would be in the desert. No, it is really really close. Like it doesn't take long to run there at all. Um, I don't know if that's going to be the long-term intention or not. Although, as you put, there was that sort of red wall behind that gate previously. So I mean, it appears that's where they've always chose to have this. They just haven't put out a build with it yet. But yeah, it was there. Kind of ran around. Not much to do in it, but um, we'll see what comes up Friday. Again, the builds that we have had largely are just for networking. Giveaway in time zone central. Yes, central. I operate on central. It is currently 8:48 my time. So uh, I thought I have a really weird schedule, right? So for the gameplay on Saturday and Sunday, I typically start at like 5:30 in the morning central time. Get up really really early and go for 5 to 7 hours in the morning. Last weekend, it's probably what I'll do this weekend. But during the week, I have to work. So yeah, we do these late night streams, and so everything's really just backwards. But it works actually. Yeah, getting to bed at 11:30, waking up at 5:30. I'm actually sleeping the whole night. So whatever. Um, but yeah, Samia's Hope is there. I can read you off the patch notes, although I think the patch notes went everywhere. I saw them all over Twitter. Um, I think Jamie put out a video about them. And there was a lot of sort of what's going on? Why are we putting up patch notes? And there was this sort of I think a lot of people started questioning if there was like an NDA broken or something. There's not. The NDA for the PTR is visual only. So I will say posting screenshots of the Discord, which is a NDA Discord, I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. I think I saw that on Twitter, but yeah. How does one enter the giveaway? JH, right now it is through. Um, so for what we're doing right now, it's through Stream Elements, which means it's through Twitch. So you have to go through Twitch. Now I am trying to stand something up for YouTube. I have to use a little bit different of a service. So hopefully I'll get that going for this weekend. When we are all playing Ashes of Creation again, hopefully come Friday, right? Hopefully they can figure out some of the, networking issues, some of the DDoSing issues. But yeah, patch notes, they also, Samia's Hope, improvements in server crashes. Supposedly, that's what we were testing all today. Are you on standard daylight? Yeah, I guess we're on. I think we're on. Anyways, time zones are a mess. It is 8:50 my time right now. If that helps, it'll about be a 9 o'clock. So if you can tie that into where you're at, that should give you the difference. And then on Friday morning, we're going to do somewhere around between 9 and 10 a.m. in the morning. Again, the reason we're doing the giveaway in the morning is that if you purchase, so come 11 a.m. Pacific time, if you purchase any further keys, it will be for the second wave. So you will not be able to get in until December 20th, presumably. That's when they told us. So 11 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. my time, is the last time you can actually buy keys to get into the 8th, November 8th. So that's why we're going to do Friday morning. It's kind of a weird time, but that is the reason for doing Friday morning, just so everybody knows. I know it's a little weird, but I really want to be able to give you the money to get the key so that you can join us on the 8th and not wait until not have to wait and then not be able to join until December. J-Ron, I appreciate the prime, man. I appreciate that a lot. And everything we get goes right back into keys. So I think the key dates are firm as the phase contents are flexible. Yes, they are, Penumbra. I actually did reach out because the other part that's a little bit unfortunate is this weekend is also Extra Life, so there was a big plan to um, you know, do key. Well, we don't really give keys away. Intrepid doesn't have the ability to do keys yet, but the money to get the keys. We were going to do that quite a bit on Saturday for Extra Life, but unfortunately we cannot. So I did reach out, and the dates are 100% firm at this point. They are not going to change that 11 a.m. I said, I reached out and said, do you think you could add maybe like just through the weekend? Like let us like make it, yeah, November, what? That would be November 4th, like that Monday. But no, the answer was nope, can't do that. So we'll try to do what we can on Friday morning and give away access then. So, gosh, PTR tonight. So big things were Samia's Hope. As I mentioned, there's just not a lot there. There's some buildings, there's some NPCs kind of stood up. There's an Ember Spring. But again, I think we're also playing on a build that probably doesn't have a lot of content necessarily associated with it. So I don't know really what to expect Friday, other than they do hope to have Samia's Hope up potentially. Another one that they added a radius that players must be in order to access loot drops. There has been this sort of weird thing where you could access loot drops from about anywhere. So that is being changed. Penumbra, I'm taking Friday off. Hope to get in before the DDoS attacks start. My opinion there is we got to figure out when Thor is joining. I really do not think it was a coincidence that he was in the midst of a big stream Sunday and somebody decided to go ahead and DDoS everything. So I don't know if that's aimed at, if that was aimed at Intrepid so much as that was like, just to knock him off because he had a lot of viewers. But I do wonder if the pair are connected. So, see, so is there a stream Friday morning? Yes, Friday morning. So I will be on. I'll probably start between 8 and 9, and then between 9 and 10. We definitely have one key. We'll see if we can get to 2. Again, what I'm doing is just taking everything we get from YouTube and Twitch and putting it back into keys. So we'll see what we come up with, and we'll just do the giveaway then. So again, what we do is money for a key. So it's a PayPal is what I send it through. So we did 3 of them on Sunday. It's quite fun. So what do you mean? Like if you hit a mob outside of the radius that you don't? No, this was well, you wouldn't hit the mob, right? So this was more so, if you were in a group. So I had this happen. Like if I was in a group and, I was like completely on the other side of what, this mountain that we were on, like basically not close. I could still get loot. Like they might have killed something. I played no part of it and I could get loot from whatever they did. So that is what's changing. So they're putting a radius around sort of where you have to be in order to have access to that loot. Actually, their rationale was this is to prevent instantaneous transit of goods using mules at nodes. So, but that was one that was changed. What's up, Shipples? Before you could need or greet on any item anywhere in the game world. Yes, that's exactly it. Sangre, yeah, now you need to be near. So they've changed that. Yeah, Thor has a large audience and a number of them would be capable of, well, I'm not necessarily saying his audience did it. I mean, I guess it could be like, oh, I'm the cool guy. I just wonder if there's somebody that knew there was a big viewing audience for the game and just wanted to flex whatever imaginary muscles they think they have. So not necessarily saying it was like a member of his audience, just that I don't know that it's a coincidence because that was I think the largest stream. That was the largest amount of viewers that I'm pretty sure that Ashes had over the weekend was when he was streaming. So, OC, you need a PayPal account. Yes, hopefully, ideally, yes, Mr. Leamington. I mean, we can see if there's something else to do, but ideally, yes, that was the easiest method for me. If you're in the same party, you can need on loot drops, no matter the range from the death. Yeah, that's what's changing. Muscles called money. Yeah. Other things, actually, I noticed this yesterday, and I forgot to mention it on stream. When I logged into the PTR yesterday, I noticed that my mount once I got that really crappy starter mount, that all of a sudden I had a button that looked like a dash button. Um, I noticed that yesterday, but it didn't do anything. Like I could, it was not clickable. And I forgot actually this morning, I realized I forgot to even bring that up as we were all chatting yesterday. And sure enough, today the patch notes include that the mounts now have a dash ability for max speed. So you do have a dash, and I've been using it. It's okay. It works. It's not like a huge dash. Mounts go in zoom. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Dank. That's yeah. Although to be fair, again, the starter mounts don't really go zoom. Although they did also mounts are now, it says mounts are now faster across the board. So I think the starter mount went from a 130% boost to 135. So not a ton, but what we'll have to see is what comes with the mounts that you can do later on. Through some of the artisan skills. Let's see. I assume we're going to get some mounts that go really, really, really fucking fast. So they've also added your name to the nameplate on the mount. So no longer do you have to try to figure out which mount is yours when you're surrounded by 20 or 30 of them. It'll just have your name on it. So, and I did notice that today. That actually made it a little bit nicer in the starting area. Today I climbed. Actually, we were supposed to stay largely in lion hold so that again they could test networking. And I ended up on a roof of one of the buildings on top of my horse. It was kind of fun. Actually found an invisible wall or invisible roof. I'm not really sure what it was, but I was walking around on air. Incidentally, I crashed and couldn't get back in. So I don't know if that was me or what, but there were several server crashes tonight. A lot of disconnects, but they were also checking for disconnects. So I actually sent them some one of my logs to try to help figure out what some of the disconnect issues are. But there were a lot of disconnects. And actually, one thing I've noticed that it kind of irritates me a little bit, but I'm sure it'll get fixed, is when I disconnect, the game just crashes out. It goes back to the character login screen, but then it just closes out completely. So a lot of crashes, but they also had a lot of their stuff turned on trying to catch bugs. So I think a good change would be making it so when you click on someone mounted, it always targets the player instead of the mount. Yeah, although you might want to kill the mount sometimes, but yeah, that is a little bit annoying. What's the deal with gliding mounts? Is that a thing they plan on doing? It's of course everybody wants flying mounts. That is something that gets asked a lot with people who haven't really followed Ashes for a while. Um, the flying mounts are certainly going to be just for the mayors, and I saw Query on his. They do plan to have some gliding things as well. But I don't know when that's actually going to be done. That's been discussed. And that there should be some skills associated with that as well. But I think like longer gliding time and things like that. There is not, I don't believe there's one in the game right now. So the rest of the stuff, this is actually the largest set of patch notes that they've put out. The map, the in-game map, which we've talked about is terrible, is a little bit better actually. They improved that some. The zooming in and out of the map, so it doesn't get all wonky anymore, which is nice. The mini map is really weird right now. All of the icons are huge, so it's a little not easy to notice what you're doing. So I found an invisible ramp in the wild on a mountain. Walking on air is fun. Yeah, and then I came to a wall. I don't know, it's weird. I don't know if it crashed me or not, but I did crash when I was up on there. Not everyone wants flying mounts. Gliding mounts are extremely powerful. Arc-Age gliding mounts are very powerful. Yeah, I mean, I think gliding mounts are going to be harder to find. The only other thing that happened tonight, I did notice my VRAM usage was better. So there's some improvement on their end with that. And then the only other thing I ran in and Planendorf was sitting there in Lion's Hold. He was corrupted. He was red. And walked up to him as a level 1. He was level 50. And I said, fight me. And he subsequently hit me for, I think, 85 million damage. And I died right away. And then I crashed out of the game. So 85, I'm pretty sure it was 85 million. It was either that or 8,500,000, but I'm pretty sure he hit me with 85 million damage. To have no clue what spell he used, but I misjudged that fight a little bit. Actually, I started I started hitting him. I said fight me. He didn't. So then, as a level 2 cleric, just started slinging my book at him, and of course not do anything because he's level 50. And then he just turns to me, and the next thing I know, I'm just dead. It's pretty funny. It's the slash kick depth command as a spell. It is like 80. Yeah, it was a little bit overkill, a little bit. And then I went back and he was gone, so I could not find him anymore. I was still going to poke the bear, even though I know he could have kicked my ass. But 8 million is a little strong. Yeah, 85 million is even more. So I don't know what he used. I don't know what spell or what he hit me with, but actually my death animation was all sorts of messed up. It was kind of funny. I couldn't lock back into that character initially. I was able to finally get back in, and my body was like compressed on itself. It looked really weird. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to share visual stuff, so it almost looked like my character was starting to pray. Kind of, you know what I mean, like on their knees starting to pray, and then something to squash them, and so that's kind of how it felt. So I died to Lord Lord Planendorf. Sounds like a GM nuke. Yes, it was something. It was not what I would not expect there to be anything, even with a level difference of 50 to 1 that hits somebody for 85 million damage. How does one join? Are you talking about the giveaway? Here, the link just popped up. The giveaway is not till Friday morning. Again, we're doing Friday morning, primarily because Friday's the last day you can get keys for phase 1. After Friday, any key you get will be for December 20th in phase 2. So we're trying to do some giveaways before that change happens. So highest damage I took was for 1,700 from some random NPC. What were you doing trying to kill an NPC? Turned to ash so fast. Yeah. They let us boost up to 21 yesterday. And so I think I had around 3,500 health, but that's the most. It's a really weird scenario. So I think we talked about this, but gear is super important. That is what I learned yesterday, because I got boosted to 21, but I had starter gear, and I had just my regular spells, and level 8 and 9 stuff could kill me. And my damage to them was the same as the damage I did was the same as I would do at level 5. So character levels in and of themselves do not seem to do anything right now. So really it's your gear that is super important, it appears, which I think kind of tracks, right? I mean, that's the whole point of having corruption drop gear, right? So it kind of tracks with what they're doing. I was just really surprised at how little difference there seemed to be from level 1 or 2 to 21. So with gear. So your goal is to go get gear, upgrade your gear, enchant your gear, get in a guild and get some gear, because that is what's going to help you survive more so than leveling your character. VRAM fix is amazing. Yeah, it's run, so visually it's run better. Like I said, I still had a lot of disconnects today, but visually I didn't really have much of an issue like I've had before. I've not had any screen flashing at all today. That was a big problem before. I was trying to go home halcyon after dying 3 times to other random NPCs. I just wanted to go fish. Well, did you just take the wrong place? The wrong route? Aggro range is unclear. Yeah, that's true. It is. Some things grab you. Oh, that's the other thing I noticed. So at level 21, hey Jaron, I appreciate the bits. Thank you very much. Um, at level 21, I still had level 2 and 3 things aggroing me. So um, there does not appear to be any sort of level difference at which point they stop trying to chase you, which is kind of weird. It was kind of annoying because again, then my spells were not. I did not appear to be doing much more damage with like my smite spell at 21 than what I would do before at like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it wasn't like I could just one shot these stupid ass little goblins that were trying to eat my ankles. Um, and that was kind of a pain in the ass, but that's something that hopefully can be changed pretty easily. Are there clear delineations in the gear weights, i.e., clerics and mages locked into light or loose stats for their class, or will there be like spell swords and a heavy? Oh no, you can wear whatever you want. Right now, you can wear whatever you want. Some of the things are in its infancy, right? So a lot of the item sets and things like that are going to have a little bit more. Heavy armor is going to probably be more set bonus towards like a tank or something. That's not the long term goal. Um, when we really get into crafting, you should be able to make heavy armor that really does track with a cleric or a mage. You don't get any right now. There's no weight, so that's not an issue, and there won't be any weight. You don't seem to get any penalty. Um, there's going to be maybe some dodge stuff that changes, but you can wear whatever you want. So in Node Wars, when we did Node Wars, um, I purposely took armor that was more heavy armor and medium armor because I wanted to play a frontline cleric. Now that armor was sort of preset, so I did take things with like strength and some other stuff that you might not normally do with a cleric, but it still worked out fine. Um, I wasn't squishy or anything. I was pretty solid up there with everybody. And actually, clerics are just kind of OP, so um, you can self sustain for a very long time. Some mobs aggro on you, give up after you run for a while, then aggro again if you stop soon after. It's random. I've noticed that too, Life and Stuff. So I've noticed that too. Specifically the goblins, like, right, that you think you're away. The way I can tell if I'm really away is just if my mini map is no longer red. That's the only way I've been able to tell for certain that aggro's fine. Good, because I'm liking this cleric play more than I have many I've played. The cleric was fun. That's all we did this weekend. We got to level 11, about 10%, 15% into 11, which was pretty good for the we didn't play all weekend. I think I streamed 7 hours Saturday, about 7 hours Sunday, and we streamed for a while on Friday, but that's largely because the server opening got delayed by 3 hours. So to get to 11 in that sort of time play was not bad. And actually, I had a really, really solid 8-man group. And we were doing some 3-star stuff that was about 2-3 levels above us. And that was giving just absolutely killer EXP. So, but yeah, we had fun with the cleric over the weekend. Of course, that's what I've always mained. So, um, I think it feels really good right now. There's a really good mix of AoE spells, single target, instant cast stuff, your chain heal, some hots. There's a nice wide range of stuff that you can choose from. Because you're going to have oh shit moments. We had a lot of oh shit moments over the weekend, and you feel like you can catch up if you have to, which is nice. You can throw your AoE heal down to the ground and then just spam. You have an instant cast heal that can be cast during any other spell. So you can kind of oh shit heal them up really good. So it feels really good where it's at right now. The only thing I wish they would add are some melee type skills. Either something with a holy strike or I don't know, something that you can actually then spec into and be a little bit more of a physical DPS. Because what I've ended up doing with the cleric is largely relying on the spell book. You start out with the scepter, so you can do a scepter and a shield, but what I've found to be much easier from a healing standpoint is actually to stand in the back line, use the spell book, and just auto DPS from afar, and then just cast my heals. That has worked currently a lot better for me. So I feel like Big Mike Gaming. I feel like mobs should only ever drop common gear. The fact that mobs drop higher tier gear really trivializes crafting. That has been a big debate. Yeah, that most certainly has been a big debate. Um, you know, when several years ago, there really weren't going to be these items. There wasn't talk about item sets and things like that dropping from mobs. I think part of why we see that right now is because of just where we're at in development. They don't really have the crafting systems are not stood up very high. So um, you don't have a ton of crafting in the game. So and they have to give us gear somewhere. So that's where I think they're doing a lot of these item drops. Now they do plan to keep having them, but I agree. Like the world was really supposed to focus on crafting, and and I think it still will, but now you have this other process of getting gear. So I don't know. Um, we'll see how everything kind of ends up over time balancing out. I'm sure it will, but if the red dot is leaching back, you're good then too. Okay. There were hundreds for you. Are you using EXP scrolls? No. Oh, you mean when I got boost? What do you mean? For when? Royer. My man, I am Royer. Don't let me forget this paladin question, but as things drop, chat starts to run. What's up, Royer? Is for those of you who do not know, I am Royer. He is an absolutely amazing content creator, both Twitch and YouTube. I was actually just hanging out with their channel before we went live tonight. Go join him if you have a minute. Just open up his name panel there and go give him a follow. He has taught me a lot, actually. Royer has taught me a shit ton about streaming. Everything from hardware, software. He's somebody, if I have a question, can kind of quickly go to and get a good answer. So we greatly appreciate Royer. I've also played some games with him. He's pretty good at games, I'd say. Wouldn't you agree, Roar? I think so. He's the AOC stream IT guy. Yes, that is very true. He is. He is the. So we do have a Discord for content folks, and everyone goes to Royer to find out what the fuck's wrong with their stream. So actually, most of these earbuds, everything, a lot of things I have are from him. So the best pro gamer gaming at mediocre level. Nah, not mediocre. But in all seriousness, actually, yeah, do go follow him on Twitch, and he's on YouTube as well. So I'm going to go back to, there was a question about where did it go? Yes, the crafting system needs work. Until then, we have item drops. Yeah, I mean that's why we're seeing. I think why we're seeing. It was a question about paladins. Do they have paladins? No, not right now. They don't have anything like that now. Now they will once they have their secondary augments in. So secondary augments are where you get to pair a second class with your primary class. And then you can get into some things that look a little bit like paladins. But as to when that will happen, honestly, we have no idea. We don't even have all 8 classes yet. So they are not going to work on that secondary system, that augment system, until they have all 8 classes stood up. And we still have the rogue and we still have the summoner. And the summoner, it sounds like the earliest it would be here is sometime May of next year. So we don't know. We don't know when we're going to get that. But yes, eventually they'll have something similar to a paladin. A good example, like I want to play a Templar, which is going to be cleric with a fighter secondary. So, but yeah, you'll get to make something close to a paladin. Question: caravans choosing attack defend. Are you put in a group with everyone on that side of the battle, or is it free for all where attackers are also attacking other attackers? I don't believe you get put into a raid group if that's what you're asking. Not yet. Not right now. Caravans. I can't tell if caravans are sort of a little bugged right now or what. We actually ran up on somebody in we were around Winstead. Kind of upgrade. The group ran back to sell shit, get new shit. A lot of us hit 10, so you could become a citizen at 10, and you get new gear at 10. And when we were running back to our camp spot, we actually came up on a caravan, but the caravan went poof. It disappeared. So I don't know if that was a bug. Um, I actually did not get a question as to whether to join it, attacker or defender. Some of us thought that they might have actually just despawned the caravan because they saw a group of people in the same guild coming up. I'm not really sure, but that's been my only actually interaction over the weekend with a caravan. I don't know if Royer did anything with caravans, but that was my primary interaction. So I still say caravans are also another interesting thing that I think they're going to have to work on, because if you're just out in the world running around, and my opinion is it makes far more sense to be an attacker than a defender. Um, I don't see the reward in being a defender. You know, you have to trust that the people you just helped are going to give you something. And then you also have to complete the caravan with them. So, you know, you're going to have to stop what you were doing, go to the node so that they can deliver it. Versus the attacker, I mean, you just loot the shit right there. You know, you win, you get it, you run. So I think they're going to have to work on that. Oh, there's the follow-up question. I didn't see that. What is the benefit of to doing either? Well, I just kind of went over that. The attacker, you're trying to get goods, right? Commodities or things that you can then take with you. You can either crack them open and take like rubies, or individually, but everything things will become stolen. But you can also summon your own caravan and put everything from their caravan onto yours, and you'll end up with more money if you do that. But obviously, there's more risk if you're going to try to spawn your own caravan from a place that you just killed everyone at. Because caravans don't come immediately; they do take a little bit of time. Let's see. Just lost my place in my chat. Does the current guild system lend itself to feudal type layouts, meaning to size limits, a crafting, gathering? Hold on, I'm trying to. Am I getting dyslexic? Groups and the elite runners who always get the dungeons. I'm not sure. My head is just spinning right now. Maybe it's lack of sleep. Does the current guild system lend itself to feudal type layouts? I mean, you can do pretty much. But right now, guilds are very much in their infancy. Actually, I would say that about guilds. You have to so guild maxes are 50. You can only put 50 people in a guild. Eventually, they want that to be 300, but right now it's only 50. So what you have are guilds that are split into multiple guilds, which is a little bit weird. And there's a question about which class would the paladin fall under, fighter cleric. Yeah, right. The fighter cleric, it's the reverse of the cleric fighter. So the guild system though is just really, really infant right now. There's not much you can do with it, other than have a tag and run around with your guild folks. We don't even have friends lists right now. So now that's supposedly coming Friday, but we don't even have friends lists to be able to see who's on. So guilds are equally just as sort of basic right now. Caravans worked fine for us during setup and travel, but we weren't sure if we were supposed to get something when we dropped it off or not. It just disappeared. I mean, you're supposed to get something, right? Life and stuff don't you end up having to go sell stuff? Like, doesn't it pop up into your inventory? I thought. I'm pretty sure, right? Like that's where it pops up, and then you go sell it. I'm pretty sure because the caravan is supposed to it is supposed to poof, but I think everything that so whoever the caravan owner is, all of those items that you successfully transferred should be in the inventory, and then you can sell it or whatever you want to do with it. So Alpha 2 Wave 1 is just weekends. Yep, just weekends. When is it not just weekends, and are there system requirements? There are system requirements on their website. If you kind of put what you have in chat, we could probably tell you if you're going to be okay or not. But yeah, wave 1 is just weekends. Wave 2, which starts phase 2, which starts in December, will be 5 days a week, and then we move to 24/7 sometime in they say May of 2025. I don't know that I buy that, but that's when they say. Intrepid just does not make their times. They do not make dates very well. So pretty much any badass class you could think of. Yeah, there's 60. Well, there's 64 combinations. True. We don't know how different they're going to be. We've been told there'll be significant differences, but that's another thing that's just unknown right now. What we're going to be able to do. I think the fear some people have is that it won't feel different. A good example for that is World of Warcraft. Like you look at all the different tank specs, right? The bear tanks and your warriors and your paladins. Like everybody plays very different and everybody feels very different for that specific role of tank. We're not necessarily sold that this sort of 64 class setup is going to feel that way, but that's obviously the hope. You could defend the caravan simply out of the goodness of your heart. Well, then life and stuff. I mean that's I guess true, but I would want something for it. If you were running it, would you pay me? Because that's the other thing. So what I pitched for that was that whoever runs the caravan should also have the opportunity to put some sort of money in ahead of time that people who are out in the wild can get from them if they join you as a defender. So that you put up, you just put up some reward ahead of time, basically, and that way players actually do have an incentive to join you. I just don't think they really do right now. Oh, my chat's going, oh, weird. What the hell? I use streamer.bot chat and it is not being very nice right now. It's kind of weird, actually. I'm losing my my chat. What's up, Ludaloo? Won't stay for long, but want to say hi. You never stay for long. You never ever stay for long anymore, and I'm offended that you even showed up to leave so quickly. Those patch notes looked, patch updates look great. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, the big thing with the mounts, the big thing with the new area. I kind of talked about that initially. I did run around Samia's Hope. Kind of realized I wasn't supposed to afterwards, but what's up, Surgeon General? They really wanted us focused more so on Lionhold and working on disconnects. I will say though, Samia's Hope is not far at all away. So it's to the east. If everyone who has played it remembers, there is a burning caravan event that's kind of in your starter area. To the south of that is an area that was gated off. That is now open, so you can run through there, and that's where you get to Samia's Hope. So I've heard that the argument against being defenders of caravans, the only thing I can think of is risk reward is your reputation. Yeah, I mean there is reputation for sure. I do hope there's money rewards somehow. I just think you have to add in money rewards. Rain, thank you much for this Prime. Appreciate you. Appreciate you a lot. I just do think they have to do something else to get people to randomly defend that and there will be I think they plan to have sort of advancement as a defender, some sort of skill tree or some sort of way to build upon that, but reputation, but I don't know that's enough. Just really don't know that that's enough. These dates are going to be carved in stone this time, Phantom. The contents of the phases are not. So the dates can be easily hard locked, I guess, but sure. I'll agree with you. I'll just say sure. Here, I was in the middle of trying to find Ashes of Creation spec so I can link this. Here we go. This is the wiki. It's not the official, but wiki is just as good. So here are your requirements. If you're wondering, there you go. The best thing you can do, well, let's see, what did you put? You had that 1070. That might be I mean, it says that it looks like you'll meet minimum potentially, but you'll have to see how it plays. I know there's been some graphical issues. A lot of people, actually, there was a Reddit post. I don't know if I can find this and link this as well. I think I have it saved somewhere. There was a very interesting Reddit post. Someone was digging around in some of the settings files, and noticed that the game actually defaults to a lower resolution if you do not have a 4000 series. I think it's a 4000 series NVIDIA card, but let me actually have it here. I just have to send it to the desktop, and then I could send it to you all to read. Yeah, so what I run right now is I have a 4060 Ti, and then I have a 7950 AMD processor, 3D processor, and I do have 128 gigs of RAM, but that's because only because Node Wars had absolutely terrible memory leaks, and so I just bought more while we were doing node testing. It's obviously overkill right now, but I get, if I sit on ultra, I get somewhere around 30 FPS. If I change that down to medium, it goes up to 50 to 60. It's kind of where I sit, just to give you an idea. Oh, but here's this. Oh shit, that's a long. Why is that so long? It's a long ass. Anyways, there you go. It's an interesting post for people who are playing and noticing that their graphics look a little bit terrible. That is a way to improve it. I've not looked into this myself. Supposedly with this post that I shouldn't have to, but um, I noticed this for people who don't have a 4000 series. You might want to look into that. So don't have DLSS basically. I changed that right after the DDoS, so haven't been able to check it. Yeah. It's the marketing URL. Oh, it is. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, it's that Reddit. Yeah. Mods, please ban the spammer. Who's oh, it's me? Am I spamming? Am I spamming? Sorry if I'm spamming. I can ban myself, but then I don't know who you're going to watch. This is very worrisome. You're 4060 with 30 FPS. Well, I mean, that's setting to ultra. And you have to keep in mind right now, there's been a lot of VRAM issues. They've had a lot of issues with the game maxing out your VRAM. So I've purposely turned it down. It actually got so bad Saturday we couldn't stream with a cam on. I actually couldn't get my cam to run at the same time as the game in OBS. Um, it literally wouldn't run. Like it wouldn't stutter. It just, the cam would not turn on. So we played that way. Now Sunday I actually turned OBS. I changed it over to CPU rather than GPU, and that's been much better right now. But I like your idea of caravan leaders creating a pool. Yeah, I mean, before setting off, so that you can see to choose defend. Exactly, that's the idea. I think you get a better response if people know they're going to get something out of it, because otherwise you just don't have it. Like, there's nothing promised to you. If you go up and defend, it's not like somebody came to you and offered you money. You chose to defend based off the UI setting. You don't know what you're going to get, if anything. I mean, that those people could just equally turn around and say F you and run away. Um, but so I wouldn't worry too much about video settings just yet. I can run around just fine on medium, and it still looks really good. I think it looks really good. For caravans, it'll be really difficult to make it worth it, make them worth it to be able to pay defenders. Yeah, and you know, I think one of the arguments against doing something like that is that really your caravans are going to largely be sent by large guilds. So you know, if a guild's doing it right, they should already have that set up ahead of time, right? Where they have people defending. So you know, maybe it's not going to be as big of an issue. I really don't see smaller groups doing caravans very much. I don't know. I think there's a lot of parts to this game, unfortunately, that the average player are probably not going to get to see. And caravans might be a part of that. Although you might be able to find an area that doesn't really have a lot of PvP, and you can kind of quickly transport stuff back and forth. But we'll see. I like the idea of adding an orange status to the flag system. Your AoE won't hit purple or red, but if attacked, you don't have to manually flag. That's actually a good idea. You don't have to flag to defend. Basically, it says I don't want to PvP, but if you attack, I will defend. Master Chief, I think that's a great idea. I've had multiple times because the flagging is such a weird default. I think it's Alt and F. It's not sort of a natural, use of keys. And so I've had multiple times where I sort of get behind on a purple hitting me because I have to flag, and it's not instantaneous. So I would agree with that. That is not a bad idea. Caravans at the moment don't seem to be much worth. Yeah, I would agree. Although they are actually, that was in the patch notes Monday, I think. They have now added commodities people in the lawless areas. So like in the desert. So quite possibly doing a caravan to those areas now might be lucrative. We'll have to see. But they did actually add some NPCs to the PTR. So does everyone have their own caravan to access if they have commodities to transport? Or do you need to purchase? You're going to have to purchase it. There's a lot that you're going to have to put together. It's not going to be an instantaneous thing. So, but you can upgrade stuff. You can, crafters can make things for your caravan so it gets more experience, more health. You can have the caravan like cast spells and stuff and heal. So there's a whole actually progression path for caravans as well. Imagine there will be merc guilds that would defend for someone, but the amount of money that will require, just don't know. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there will be for sure. For sure, there's going to be merc guilds. Actually, I think there's already several of them out there that are actively recruiting. If you wanted to join, I also like the idea of you have to flag purple if you want to loot player corpses. Yeah, that's an interesting debate. Crearian, thank you. I appreciate you, man. Mayor Crearian is mayor of gotta return the level. I appreciate it. You don't have to, but I appreciate that. Mayor of Miraluz. And Miraluz, not Miraleth, it's Miraluz. So no, that's just what it is from Node Wars. It's always going to be Miraluz. You never forget the time that your side beat the shit out of some developers in Envious. You don't forget that. So it'll always be Miraluz. But he is the mayor of Miraluz on the Vira. It's Vira, right? I keep wanting to say Vera, but it's not Vera. Vira server. And they did bring Firebrand over into Winstead, which is actually my guild's area. So we'll see what happens from that. But yeah, I don't know how to say it either. They put a tweet out about it today, and I honestly didn't watch it yet, the video. I haven't watched the stream at all from Friday either. I've been too busy. Firebrand is mayor of Winstead. I mean, Rive might have something to say about that, but I saw y'all burning shit down. It was fun to watch. I will admit, it was actually pretty fun to watch. Steven did a pronunciation of all the territories. Yeah, I just not watched. Usually for Sunday, our show, I'll go back and watch their streams, but we're a little busy. But yeah, it'll always be Miraluz. Sorry. That was fun. Node Wars. We had them. I've told the story before, but we were kicking their ass so bad, Winstead was, that in my ear, in our headphones, all of a sudden you hear Margaret sort of telling us, quit fighting, let them in to the God Spike, quit fighting. because they could not get past us at all. Actually, we backed off first, and we did not go as hard with them, and we still were kicking their ass. So we actually literally had to stop fighting so that they could get into the Godspike area. It's a lot of fun, I will say. A lot of fun. And actually, if you go back and watch the Node Wars stream and the video that they recorded of us as PI doing it, at the very end, Steven gets very confused because once they finish channeling the God Spike, all of a sudden their entire raid is killed. They're all dead. And that's because we had to let them channel the God Spike. And once they did, gloves came off and we just killed them all. And that's where Steven actually says on that video, he's like, oh, we lost. And everybody had to tell him they won. It's because he was confused because we killed them all. Is it just me or does audio have desync? Does it? I'm not noticing anything. Yeah, I'm not noticing anything. Although I will say I've noticed some issues with Twitch. I don't know if you just need to refresh the page. I was watching Jamie earlier and I kept getting this sort of spinning wheel and I'd have to refresh the page to get it to sync back up. So that it might just be Twitch right now. Myra has a long Y. Did I say that? Yeah, Myra. That's not Myra. That's Mira. Who came up with this shit? That's probably Steven. I probably shouldn't say that. Hey, me too on Jamie. Yeah, I don't know what the deal was. It kept disconnecting for me for some reason. I was watching Roar's. Never mind. I was watching Roar's stream in one tab with his audio in another. That's funny. I have accidentally become a raider to my own channel before, because I'll usually watch folks before we go live, and if I forget to close the tab before they raid, then I become a raider of my own channel, which is always kind of weird. Jamie was having issues with his setup. I wondered. I saw he went live, and then they kind of got off, and then went live again. I feel like their internet always goes out where they're at. All good on YouTube. That's good to hear. Steven pronounced it with a long, oh, you're going back to Myra. I don't know. That's Mira. I think it's Mira to me. And I keep wanting to say Vera, but it's Myra. I don't know why he likes his long Y's. There was a streamer who did a caravan with items worth like less than 20 silver, and he made about 2.5 gold. Oh, that's not bad per item. That's not bad at all. There was a time where you could actually sell your commodities to the same node. So that was sort of a loophole that everyone, or an exploit, I guess you'd say. And everybody made a shit ton of gold doing that, but they took that away. So your FPS is around 50. Oh, you're saying A2 is it's frame limited no matter what. If you go to that, yeah, I don't know actually, but that Reddit page I linked, it looks like it will help how things look. So Wyra, yeah, I know everybody also keeps saying there's a W in there, but my North American heart does not see the W in the V. It's Vyra, not Wyra or Wyra. What was the best worst exploit you have seen that has been fixed? Probably a lot of the money things. So like I just mentioned, there's been a lot of gold exploits. So I mean, you would have pre-alpha people randomly run up to you and give you 100 gold. So those have been the most. The other one that they fixed that I just personally liked, that I wish they would give us back, was the ability to steal mounts. That was just fun, like being able to take someone's mount and then them turn around. You could see like their character turn around and like move back and forth because they're just utterly fucking confused as to where their mount went. And it's because I was sitting on it. So it was an easy fix. They just had to despawn and respawn it, but that was always fun, stealing people's mounts. Not me finding a path into lawless zones with little to no mobs for free gold from caravans. Totally didn't live stream it the other day. Totally still. Okay, so that's him saying we need to go look. Wow, you found a 15-minute caravan run to a lawless area with no mobs. Now that's how you make money. That's how you make money. Just kill them out, you know, corruption. Yeah, you can do that. These are things just to desummon it and put it back up. So, good morning, evening, afternoon from Sweden. What's up, Libin? Thank you for hanging out. I feel like I do get a lot of, oh, well, it's early for you though. I do get a lot of EU folks when I stream on the weekends. So, oh, the corruption thing for the mount is also a bug. Oh, the no corruption. Yeah. Corruption system is not implemented at all. I don't know. Planendorf was corrupted today, and I tried to kill him, and he just he hit me with for 85 million damage. I think he was saying kill the mount as a form of griefing. Yeah, and is it 10 minutes or 8? Yeah, it's 10, right? I had that happen to me yesterday on PTR. I had to wait 8 minutes. I still don't know what happened to my mount. So, hey, there's Neuro waiting in line at a drive-through. Which drive-through are you heading at? Waiting to see which guilds are going to be griefing the new players on October 8th. Yeah. Hopefully none, right? But I don't know. Hopefully none. There's this big question. You mean November 8th? There's this question too whether they do new servers. I don't think they will. I think they'll just have everyone forced into the 6 that they have. Steven in Discord didn't seem to like the aspect of Arcage, and when he hopped into Discord, he sounded very hesitant, but did say it had positive feedback, and hesitantly he said he would review it for the mount stealing. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting, right? I actually, I don't mind that. You know, because I feel like it's kind of stupid the way we do it now, right? We run up to something and we get off our mount and it just sort of sits there. When we were grinding Sunday, you know, if actually people were laughing because we were, you know, neck deep and shit, and my mount was just sort of sitting there hanging out. You know, just hanging in the back of the picture, just sitting there. I didn't desummon it, but there wasn't really a reason to. Nice, you did DM me that. All right, we're gonna have some fun. Mayor, if I wasn't already a part of Genesis, I'd come hang out with you all in Mirrorlose. But actually, that's a lie. I could never go to Mirrorlose. Have too much PTSD from Node Wars. But I actually think having the ability to steal mounts would be interesting. Be very interesting. You know, you can make it temporarily. I guess you don't have to necessarily make it a permanent thing, but you know, that would force people to pay attention to what they're doing with their mounts. What flavor is that? Oh, it's just Blue Moon. Nothing crazy. I saved the liquor for the weekends. CVS. So not like a fun place getting nice food or anything. It's going to be interesting to see newbies coming in. Yeah, it will. I'm curious how many videos we'll get afterwards about the shit that they don't like about the game or any of that. We'll see. If they don't bring on more servers, it's going to be hard for players to get on servers. I don't know that. We'll see. But again, I'm not sure they actually have the system set up to merge servers. And so that's why I feel like they don't want to have to create extra servers, is because I don't know that they have the ability to merge them. And you know, if you have a dead server, you don't want to just close it because that will piss people off even more. Mounts are basically in real life cats, just not caring. Yeah, that's a perfect example. The fucker just sits there and doesn't do shit. Oh, share the love, dude. No, don't share. Keep it to me. Keep it safe. Keep the secret safe. Idle animations don't look done now. I don't know that there's anything at this point that is done within the game, anywhere in the game. I'm pretty sure every single aspect of the game is still not close to finished. The main goal is to stress the servers, not give everyone a chance to play. Yeah, that is true. We won't. I guess technically November 8th will still be phase 1, which is server stress. It's out of your hands now. You gave it up, huh? I tried Blue Moon once. It was like a rye orange, and I threw up. Morpg. Yeah, I mean, I'll drink that too. I'm not super picky. But yeah, the weekends is when I'll get some sort of liquor out. The horses need to not look like robots when we hop off. Yeah, that's really good. That is good feedback. Make them sniff the ground and eat grass, depending on the terrain. Is there a character limit on guild names? Believe so. Actually, one of the patch things they added this yesterday's patch for PTR was chat limiting on characters. So I didn't realize they didn't actually have a limit to character chat character length, but they do now. I'm watching everything I can now to learn what I can. My apologies, new realms. Yes, it is realms, not servers. Good point. Very good point. Yeah, there's a lot of guides out there. Flanker, I think, has done a lot of guides. I think Peon has done some guides, which I think can be helpful. But I always get curious about having guides for an alpha, just because everything can change so much. But I guess if it's a guide that sort of teaches the basics of just getting into the alpha, that would make sense. Do you think they will wipe before this weekend? No. Sure don't. I think we'll have our characters back. They've been wiping the PTR a little bit, but not the main servers, or sorry, main realms. I think they could merge them. I imagine all the data is just on a database. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if they put the time into it, but I also don't know that they really want to have to put the time into it right now. I'm sure they could do it. I just don't know that. I guess what I was trying to say is I don't know they have it done now. Need to up the amount of concurrent players. That I think would probably be their first step if they had to choose. Rather than add servers, is try to, since the purpose right now is to stress their servers, I think they would probably prefer to try to up the current concurrency rather than open new ones. So that would make sense to me. Adding idle animations make the world feel much more alive. I agree. I agree. I straight up live streamed it. I mean, you can open up a tab and go look. You don't have to. You can just listen to me. You don't have to look at my ugly ass face. It's fine. I'm not that important. I'm just a guy sitting at a camera drinking Blue Moon. I sometimes mix Blue Moon with OJ and call it a breakfast beer. I've never thought to do that. That actually tastes good. I guess that would taste good. What is it over in England? It's a shandy, the lemonade in a beer. That actually tastes pretty good. Actually, that tastes like lemonade, but it smells like beer. I mean, I've had Blue Moon with an orange slice, but I've never mixed it with OJ. But I didn't pay 120 to sit in a queue for a weekend. That's what I'm getting at. If there are enough, well, I know. I mean, but you did pay 120 to test the game, and the queue is part of testing, right? I mean, I know it's not fun, but I think the 120 is a good deal because I also think again this game's going to go for 3 years in alpha, so you're going to have a lot of time to use that $120 you spent. So there's confirmation. Yes, there is a character limit on guild names. I saw somebody today on the all right, Korean, I appreciate you. On the PTR that their name was just a whole lot of A's, and I kept thinking it was them actually just in chat yelling "ah," but they that was just their name. I don't know why I just said that, but I just thought it was weird. I love the guides because the devs can read them. That's true. And choose whether or not to nerf. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. There's Ludaloo choosing violence. You will sit in the queue and you will like it. Otherwise, you made a mistake and spent $120. I think it'll be better. Especially if them getting Samia's hope up. I think that's going to be, it'll make things a little better. They have tried to address the queue issues with another starter realm, so that should help. Yep. Like I said, I ran through Samia's hope today, so it's there. It's on the PTR. It's there. Was there an increase to mount speed on the PTR? Yes. So they boosted all mount speeds, and then they've given all mounts a like a sprint ability as well. That only lasts a few seconds, and I think it's the 30-second cooldown. But it's helpful when you're trying to run away from shit. They didn't boost stuff a ton. I think what I saw, the starter mount, I think is 130% increase in your speed. They boosted it to like 135. And then they boosted everything else too. So what's the giveaway? Oh, it's just 4 keys on Friday morning. So it's technically not a key. We can't do keys because Intrepid does not have ability for us to give you keys, but we will give you the money for keys. A key, I keep saying keys, it's a key. We're doing it Friday morning primarily because Friday is the last time to buy a key and get into phase 1. After Friday, you will not be able to get into phase 1 anymore. You'll have to wait till phase 2, which will be December. So we're trying to do it Friday morning before that rolls over. What times does it say? 11 a.m. Pacific, I think, is when their key sales end for phase 1. So I'm just trying to make everybody aware. Yeah, 1 p.m. I thought it's 2 p.m. Eastern. Right, because I'm pretty sure it's 11. I'd have to go back and look. Actually, is it on my thing, on my screen? I can't read it. It's too small. I can't read it. How many days does it go for? Are you, I guess, referring to the alpha? So alpha 2 phase 1, first wave, until December 20th, supposedly. The December 20th is when phase 2 will start. So we have weekends up until then. I'm not convinced it will start then. I know there are people that are convinced. So I just realized I didn't have YouTube chat up over here. Oops. Let me pull that up. I don't think I'm missing anything, but you never know. Servers are back up at 1 p.m. Yeah, have they said? I wasn't sure if they've even said when the servers will come back up. Friday. Is it officially is it officially 1 p.m. Tomac? Would be Tomac, right? You'd be Tomac. So many of you have these really interesting names. The game does have my attention now. How is the military faithful scientific merchant aspect determined when setting up a node? Is it based on starting nodes, controlling player guild choice? So right now we do not have all of these different node types just yet. Actually, when the world is created, all of the nodes are automatically given a type. So that the type is already set. You will not get to choose the type. You'll just have to choose where you do experience to increase that node. What's up, AIM? So you, it's in Discord news. I didn't see it. I'll look as we're sitting here. I'll pull up there. Is it just in, I guess, Alpha 2 news? But yeah, so each of the nodes are going to automatically be set as to whether they're military, scientific, or whatnot. You're just going to have to choose which node you want to add experience to, and that is how you will that is how you'll figure out if you want to get a scientific node up to Metropolis or something like that. Is the type being set? Oh, for testing purpose, they just don't have it. I think, as far as we know, they don't have all the node types yet. They have one that they're kind of using basically. So everybody as an example, the mayors for each of them were voted on by, were voted on. So you don't have like the military fighting thing. You don't have the religious, faith-based thing. You don't have the economic people with all the money being mayors. So it's all set up to the scientific process. Would be fun if node types were random, then servers would be more different. Yeah, that's true. I agree. I'm actually very curious. I think that's a good question for Steven. Is there a limitation as to why you can't do it that way? I don't know that anybody's ever asked him that. And I think that would be a very interesting question to have him answer as to why they've chose for it to be this way. Let's It's not in the news, but I read it somewhere. Steven posted. Oh, so it's not. I actually just pulled up news. I could do like a from. Are you saying he talked about it in Discord? There's too many Stevens in their Discord. I think they should ban all of them. Phase 1 of testing will occur on weekends. Yep, each weekend is scheduled. Oh, okay. So it is each weekend is still start Fridays 10 a.m. Pacific, and on Sundays 10 p.m. Okay, so that's what they wanted to do this last weekend, right? This is what's copied from the Alpha 2 post. Okay. And then yeah, so that's what they did Friday, but then they got delayed 3 hours. And then Sunday, of course, they had to shut down early because of the DDoS. So I think the 1 p.m. was for last weekend, email says. 10 a.m. every weekend. Yeah, I think Ship was they planned on 10 a.m. last Friday, right? But they had a delay for 3 hours for whatever reason. So you need nodes to be static for strategic purposes. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be one reason to do it that way. So what we'll do Friday, like I said, Friday we will be live probably around 8 to 9, somewhere between 8 and 9 Central Time, my time, and then we're gonna keep kind of. I'm trying to hang out with y'all as long as I can. My daughter has a soccer game at like 4, so I'll have to take a break. But otherwise, we're just gonna be here chatting, giving shit away, having a good time. Why do you personally think? What do you personally think should be Intrepid's biggest concern regarding the current state of development? There's not enough shit to do. Actually, first is servers. They really need to they need to get their servers working reasonably well. I think I think the two biggest complaints that everyone had after the last weekend were servers and just not have anything to do. And of course, which is the grind. But I think those are your biggest things. The queue, I think there was a lot of conversations about the queue and how long it took, and that's again just your server stability. They don't have dynamic gridding in. What they're trying to set up now is just your basic networking stuff. So definitely networking is number one, but then is just stuff to do. I think you're going to have people, and this is probably by design. You're going to have people coming and going. They're not going to stay for long. The only people that are going to stay long periods of time are going to be your hardcore players and your content creators. Because otherwise, for most of us, there's just going to be nothing to do. You're just going to run out of stuff. So they're going to need to get content in kind of quick once they get their server stability up. Soccer season ended last week for my kids. Happy sad it's over. Yeah, it's a lot of practice and games. Although we're going into basketball season now too. Actually, we've had some overlap with that, which is this week and last week, which has been kind of a pain in the ass. Do you know if A2 Phase 1 November 8 key holders will access? No, they will not have access to the PTR at this point. Holy shit, what was that? Damn, Penumbra. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all very, very much. Again, all of this, anything ads, anything subs, all that goes right back into keys. Pity, I'll be in game. Have fun with your stream Friday. Yeah, you can put me on in the background. Listen, so fair warning to you all that didn't get to watch me on this last weekend. I have a lot of 4-letter words that come out of my mouth when I'm playing, so I try to keep it down here a little bit, but I think people learn pretty quickly that my favorite word is motherfucker. So, and actually, I don't pronounce it that way. I just say motherfucker. But anyways, we have fun gaming. But no, so PTR at this point, only people that had pre-alpha 2 access are going to have PTR access. And PTR is still under a visual NDA, not a verbal NDA, though. That's just why we can talk about all of the patch notes and everything. But now, that being said, Alpha 2 will become the PTR eventually. And I think everybody will be able to have access to that eventually, but not right now. We don't fucking care about your potty mouth. Well, that's good, because it comes out quite a lot. And I say things lovingly. I worry that some of the people I group with are going to take things personal. You know, if I'm saying, "Oh, you motherfucker, what happened?" I'm not like trying to be rude to you. That's just the language that comes out of my mouth. So sorry. I have an A2, but I don't have PTR. Yeah. I guess yeah. So everybody that's um oh, he likes it more than you think. Yeah. Steven has quite the mouth too on him. So don't let him fool you. He lets it slip every once in a while. So um well, we got like an hour and a half. I don't know shit. What should we do? I kind of wanted to if I can get it, make sure it's all set up. I was curious. Well, I can keep answering questions, or we can keep chatting. But I also was um, really curious. You know, Narc used to always watch. Well, he would watch several of my videos, and I thought maybe I would watch some of his. Um, but we don't have to do that. I know people have Narc opinions, but I always felt like he critiqued me. I should critique him. Colorado sheriff posted on social media that a large boulder the size of a small boulder has blocked 2 lanes of the road. A large boulder the size, he said that? A large boulder the size of a small boulder. Holy shit. All right. I guess. Not being able to talk like an adult is why I'm not around the Lore Forge guys. Too conservative for my takes. Yeah, they are great guys. That's a good point. I don't know that I've ever heard them curse. Have they ever cursed? I don't remember hearing them curse. Um, what from the patch notes are you most excited about? Samia's Hope, by far. Yeah. So again, the patch notes actually were pretty long for today. Um, shit, where'd they go? But most of it was just, you know, not all that cool. Like improved skeleton animation reliability, improved mount animations. Oh, there you go. We were just talking about that. Caravan health regen has been reduced. Improved legibility and flow of horns of betrayal events. So a lot of it's just shit like that. Fixed client crash on lower end PCs. Additional server stability and FPS improvements. You know, not, a lot of it isn't too cool to kind of talk about, but definitely adding Samia's Hope. So that's going to be, I think, big as long as they can have it ready to go Friday. It'll definitely help with queue, if they can get it ready. Other than that, it's just the mounts. They have increased the mount speeds a little bit, so that'll be nice because you know the mounts have been pretty shitty, to be blunt. I think there were plenty of videos running around with people just running next to the mount because you could keep up pretty easy. Did you hear Steven ran into Narc on Saturday and killed him? Did he? No shit. Was that live? Did Narc stream that? Did somebody clip that? Please. You know, I've died to Steven too. It's not fun. It's 100% not fun on stream. So I hope it was on stream. I got a lot of shit on stream when I died to to Steven on Node Wars. That's also how I got the Fant MX name because apparently he didn't know how to pronounce Phantom X, but it's cool. Nah, shit. I wish I could watch that. I would love to see that. I would love to see Narc's reactions as well. Of course, Steven cheats, right? So he uses GM shit. Narc is mayor. What did he go to? Did he go to Lineth? Because he does NA servers. So I assume he went to Lineth because I know he's not on Vira. Americans will measure everything with anything except a tape measure. That is a good t-shirt for sure. Bone Tooth, thank you for hanging out, man. I might do some live reacts to your vids on the next video. Yeah, that's fine. Everything's free to use, man. Go for it. I'm nothing special, so don't worry. I'm not going to copyright strike you. I actually did want to do something with Jalon's videos, but I got worried that he copyright struck me. So, I want to know how. I think Narc will actually be a fairly decent mayor. To be honest, I think he's going to learn the shit out of the systems, and he's going to learn how to use them well, and he'll certainly make it in a way that it benefits him and his people. So, it's a video. It was the kittens who killed Narc. but Steven joined in on the teabagging. It's hilarious. I gotta see that video. I gotta find that. I gotta turn that into a stream thing that you can use with your points, if I can. 100%. I gotta find that. Somebody link me that video. I really, really desperately want to see that. He's gonna have issues soon. Why is he gonna have issues? What's is that gonna be a uprising against him, or? I actually made a mage on Lilith, but that's just because Vira went down for like 45 minutes. Mage is not really fun for me. It's okay. I don't really find mage to be super interesting to play. I don't remember, but I know some of his skill were pissed that he wouldn't PvP fight for a node. Instead, he negotiated taking a different node. Yeah, he's not a big PvP person, right? That's why I always found it interesting how his sort of interest in the game. The same with Asmongold. Like, if there's the thought that this is going to be something close to World of Warcraft, they're going to have a hell of a time figuring out that it's not. I'm a mayor on. Oh, you're a mayor. Kenny, what are you? Which are you mayor of? I'm a mayor on Narc's server. He is definitely doing good by the server and his people. We're all working together on Lilith, and he is full game. Yeah, that's what I would expect. I've raided with him. I was actually in his guild for a little bit, for a little while. We raided. He kicked me out. I don't know why. I woke up one morning and I was kicked out of the guild. Never really found out why. I think he called me a liar or something, but I don't know what for. But so I did raid with him a few times actually, and he's a hell of a raider. So a raid leader. I mean, he's good at that. So I could see him being actually a pretty decent mayor. Yes, teabagging Narc for $10. I'm buying that every stream. I gotta find it. Somebody needs to send me in a DM, either here on Twitch or in Discord. I'm Phantom X in Discord. It's very easy to find me. Yo, when do we get NPC digs full release? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit. They've not even gotten to that point, because anytime I brought up the idea, I pinged them. Hey, I have this, this part to Kickstarter. I'd like to have digs as an NPC. Usually the answer is, well, we're not ready to even begin talking about that. So it's going to be a while. It's Jover, Joeva. How do you say that? I got to go back and watch that video of how you say these names. I want to say Joeva, but I don't know if that's correct. When is Ashes of Crustacean next up? That's I think better than Ashes of Creation. Oh, Blue Moon is supposed to be drank. Yeah, it is with that orange slice. Yeah. Typically. It's actually kind of nice when you're sitting out in the summer heat, Blue Moon with an orange slice, sitting on a fucking patio somewhere, just drinking with your friends. But the information war between alliances, I feel, is going to be as spicy as actual in-game fights. Oh, for sure. I mean, that's already started. I've already seen a lot of, Discord conversations and who's in an alliance, who's kill on sight. I saw some people getting upset that, some an alliance guild declared war. I don't know. It's like the convoluted thing, but it's just the fact that all of this shit's happening already. It's going to be really fun to see kind of the crazy shit that comes out of all this. I think a lot of guilds are going to probably collapse from the inside eventually, and that will just be interesting to document and watch. He just bans people for no reason. That's true. He won't ban me. I've asked him to ban me several times. Narc will self-destruct, just a matter of time. Yeah, I've asked him to ban me. Usually it's in the form of ban me, bitch, but he won't. Because he doesn't want to do what I ask him to do. I want to dance with Diggs. Oh, you should. I mean, if you get to California, go ahead, hit him up. Man's a dancing freak. He's probably dancing right now, actually. We don't see him through the week. Like, we'll see him on Sunday. Sundays we don't. Sometimes with Ash and Forge, we don't even know if he's coming because we haven't talked to him for a week, and he shows up with like 5-10 minutes to go, and it's because he's been fucking dancing all weekend. So, I mean, good for him. I've seen some videos of him dancing. He's really good at it. So, preaches the good old MMOs and their social interaction, treats everyone like shit. Yes, MMOs, the original social media, where you can make people feel like shit. Blue Moon is my go-to beer. Yeah, it's probably my favorite beer. I don't drink all the time, although I guess I have been drinking a beer every stream, which so most of you probably don't believe me when I say that, but um, it's crustacean because it's been in development for 8 years. But real talk, when is the next? When is the next part of the PTR this weekend? Right. When is the next? So Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when we get to play again. The PTR's been up every day this week. It's actually still up right now. But I'm here talking with y'all instead of playing on it. So there's not much to do on the PTR. It's one of those things, if you do it too much, you're going to get burned out. So, because they do reset characters on PTR pretty frequently. And so, you know, having to do that sort of level 1 through 3 all over again and over again and over again, that same damn crafting quest so you can get that stupid slow ass mount. You can only do that so many times. So staving off the vapors with Blue Moon and Orange Eye. Yeah. I don't have any orange, but I'm not a big fan of Narc, but his bans are usually fake unless you really, yeah, he unbans everybody later. Although Magisto came in here and said he has not been unbanned because he forgets to unban him. Can't wait for naval content going pirate so hard. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see too. I know, you know, you can watch a lot of footage of Steven and his old guild. So if you go to YouTube and just type in the White Order Archage or the White Order Lineage 2, you know, Steven went by Sorcerer was his name in Archage. So there's a lot of old YouTube videos. There's actually a lot of Reddit posts about his guild. Um, and they did a lot of naval content. He hated pirates. I will tell you that, Dillium. He hated pirates. So keep that in mind. They usually fought and killed the pirates in Archage. So yeah, naval content will be fun. I'm not going to be somebody that runs ships. I'm just going to probably get a little dinghy and go hunt. Go try to get some fish or something. DM on Discord. Or did you? I'm checking. Is that the? Oh, is it? Hold on. Let me find it. Oh, nice. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to watch that. And I'm going to somehow turn that into something we can use for points here. That is awesome. Aim nothing. Thank you for sending that. Um, that's going to be fun to watch. So, I have one dance move in real life and it's not good. Yeah, I can't either. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld, but I'm totally like that. What is it called? Little kicks that she does. Hey, first time here. Do we know when the patch notes for PTR go live on the alpha servers? First off, thanks for hanging out with us, Lofty Basco. Appreciate you just spending some time. We don't know for sure. Presumably, the PTR stuff's going to go live Friday, but that is not always the case. So, you know, Monday it was primarily networking stuff on the PTR. Tuesday was actually item drops. They had us around Carfin and another area, Steel Bloom, killing things. I think they added some drops to loot tables and stuff like that. So that's all we were testing Tuesday, and then today was actually just networking again. So. But you know, presumably that'll if it works, will get patched in for Friday. And they'll probably, well, you know what? I don't know that they'll stand up to PTR tomorrow because it's Halloween. Um, that might be part of why they're just letting it run for tonight. I'm not sure. Usually their PTR would have ended about 2 hours ago, but it's still up. I think, unless actually, let me check. I'm curious now. They said they were going to let it run for a bit. There's been a lot of people on the PTR, which has been interesting. In the past, the PTR didn't have a ton of people, but I think it's because everybody is honestly in a little bit of withdrawal and they're wanting something to do. But hopefully things come in Friday. You know, we had Samia's Hope tonight. I think their plan is for that to be in Friday because they really need that to help with some of the queuing stuff. So, how's the speed up for mounts? Did you, you know, because we had to wipe and start over. I only had the starter mount, and to be blunt, I did not notice anything different. So, but the starter mount's pretty terrible, anyways. I think it went from 130% speed buff to 135. So I did not notice anything. Now, if you're running a long distance, that's going to add up. But you know, just running around line hold, I couldn't tell any difference. So also there were tons of disconnects tonight too. So we'll see how that ends up. Although I think they were actually had a lot of stuff being run from a debug perspective. So that might be why we were disconnecting quite a bit. But I disconnected a solid half dozen times tonight, which was a little bit painful, but part of why you do testing. So as a mental health professional, I'm sure it's hard for you to watch an arc and have, you know, and not have advice. Yeah, you know, I get intentionally very careful about what I say and do. Um, Not that I don't necessarily think that you can get a good idea about people, especially after you've got to know them and talk to them and watch them for hours and hours and hours. But I just don't know that it's fair to like say stuff. Um, and so I tend to stay away. I mean, I certainly have ideas and thoughts about a lot of people as I meet them and see them. But yeah, that's something I'm very careful about. I don't know. You know, I don't think any of you would want me like publicly saying something about you, right, from a mental health perspective, if you didn't know me and I didn't have permission and shit like that. So yeah, I tend to be a little bit quiet, but I definitely have thoughts that run through my head sometimes when I meet people. But you know, it's my job. So one sad part is the MMO being played a lot by people. Already means some people already mastered it when others haven't touched it. Um, No, I wouldn't say that. You know, because a lot of what we're doing right now is going to be radically different at discharge or at discharge. Shit, I'm still talking about patient care at release. Um, you know, so I don't think that's where that goes back to my comment about guides. I think it's a weird time to do guides because so much of this is going to change. Um, you know, a great example I mentioned earlier yesterday, they level boosted me to 21, and but I had starter gear, and what I found out was that your character level really doesn't add anything much to your damage output, your ability to mitigate. It's all about your armor. And so I don't know if that's intentional. I don't think it is. I think your character levels will have more to say. But even something that basic is just not in right now. Um, so, you know, I don't think people will necessarily master things right away. Um, wouldn't be fun to be a pirate if there's nobody to fight. That's true. It's very true. So he's a privateer, hunter of pirates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you watch some of his videos, they did not like the pirate guilds. Um, Sorcerer did not have the best of reputations, we'll say, in Arcage. So I think Sorcerer was known as a whale, and you know, with that came certain um, thoughts about him. So he's admitted that too. I mean, when he's talked about gold sellers, he's talked about buying gold in Arcage, how everybody had to, and if you didn't, you were falling behind. I wonder if Asmongold will be streaming this weekend. It's a great question. If so, the servers will be freaking stressed again. Well, one, I don't know if he will. I assume he will. Two, it really won't have any impact on the servers this weekend because, um, you know, nobody watching him can go buy a key and all of a sudden be in on the servers, right? If you buy a key right now, you're not getting in until November 8th. So, you know, anyone watching Asmon, they might want to jump in, but unless they already have a key, they can't. So servers will probably be okay. Now, November 8th, that's a different story. So we'll see what happens come November or November 8th. But I don't know. I don't know what his opinion is going to be. I'll be curious to see if he likes it or not. I have a feeling he's going to hate the grind and a lot about it. So, you know, if there are more people starting next alpha key round, Oh, do I know? I no clue. I would assume everybody that bought a key bought to get in early. So I would assume that this group at phase 1 is bigger than well, no, because you're right, phase 2, so it's still wave 1. I don't know. I have no idea, actually, looking back. Is all the best in-game gear open world bosses or open world raids that can be contested? It can be contested. It is intended to be contested. Be first gotten by the top 1 to 3 guilds on a server in the camps after no one else. The game will be DOA for gear. I mean, that's I think a fair statement, but you do have crafting. Crafting's just not in right now. Crafting is supposed to be the best way to make gear. Right now, it's item drops. So, Erica, do you enjoy the new PTR patch? How is the new starting zone? Sorry, just got here. That's fine. I disconnected a lot, but that's what they're testing. I did run over Samia's Hope. It's pretty basic right now. There's really nothing there. I think it's more so just largely going to be stood up as a place to queue people in. But it's at least there. You know, it wasn't there before. It's there now. So, CoStark, what's up? Hello, hello, hello. I'm catching up on chat. So, still die with starter gear on. Yeah, your gear is going to be super, super important. That is what I have come to realize. You're going to really want to focus on gear more than anything, which tracks with their design. So, would it be worth it to spend all weekend trying to learn the crafting? Like, can we at least, um, I mean, you can get a feel for it, sure. I mean, if you're going to test something, you might as well go to crafting just as good as combat. You're going to want to be in a big guild, probably. Crafting takes a lot of subcomponents, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of resources. You know, so I really think, you know, solo players, I think, are going to have a hard time being good at crafting. So I think most of your crafters are going to want to be in a guild so that people can funnel stuff to you. The bottleneck's going to be in processing. I think most guilds are going to have several processors. So have you done crafting at all? I was wondering how it's leveled. Yeah, I have. You just get skill points like anything else. You complete the item and you get skill points from it. And that levels you up. It's a grind. It is a grind like everything else. Your certifications change every 10 levels. But it is 100% a grind, so you just have to get used to that. But yeah, it's just it's the same for gathering, gives you experience, processing as well. Interestingly, the processing, you don't get the experience until you take the processed items out of whatever you're doing. But that's when you get your experience. You'll want to make sure. So if you are going to be a crafter, harvester, um, gatherer, you're going to want to make sure you have the correct gear on, so that you get the experience boost. Over time, it actually adds up. So, um, your gear is limited by your level. That's true. You do need to be higher level to wear good gear, but you can enchant it, right? So, is enchanting limited by level? Oh, I just totally lost my chat. I don't know where it went. Sorry. I'm trying to be thorough with you all, but I do apologize if I missed anything. The gear you mentioned as being all important. Oh wait, yeah, we just talked about. Yeah, but there's enchanting and other stuff. So, pretty sure Asmund isn't from listening to his stream today. Oh, did he talk about Ashes? I have to go back and watch. Suspect that his squad has keys and are just waiting on him. I mean, that's possible, I guess. Is November 8th still a crazy buy-in? It's 120 bucks, which I actually think is a decent deal. When you compare it to what keys cost before, it's a really good deal. Still a lot of money, but you got to keep in mind you're getting probably 3 years worth of play out of it. So we actually did that math yesterday. I think it was, what was it, $3 a month? Is what that sort of turns into. A lot of the Asmus chats have keys already. Well, they still won't be until November 8th, right? So I just hope they actually have enough people to test the server load. Oh, it's being tested. Yeah, yeah. It is being tested for sure. You got 6, 7 buddies joining on the 8th, so you want to craft. I mean, you might as well. Yeah, go for it. The problem I ran into right now is that, so everything takes a sub combine, and a lot of that's going to be mining stuff, right? Either stone, blocks, dust, or ore of some type, or gems. And right now, mining is kind of a pain in the ass because I don't think the respawns are adequate for the number of players. And pre-alpha 2, it was fine. You could find granite and basalt and all these. You could, and copper, and you could find that just fine. Now it's super hard to find any of that in the world, and I think that's just because they have too many players. There's a mismatch in the number of people playing now and the respawn rate, if that makes sense. I can't find resource nodes to make gear. Oh, there you go. You answered it for me. That's yeah. You got. I should have looked literally like one line lower, and I would have seen that you answered that. Unless you have people helping with other profession stuff, it'll be hard. Yes, it is going to be hard. It will be. It'll be a difficult process for sure. Again, I think most of your time is going to be spent processing. So be prepared to have people processing regularly. And part of what makes that challenging is all of your processing areas are apart from each other. So it's not like you can go to one town, put some logs, some lumber in here, and then step over here and do some ore, and over here and do some, farming. Like they're far apart in some instances. So there's a lot of running back and forth and processing, and um, so it processing is 100% your bottleneck right now. It takes a minute per item. So if you're trying to process 30 things, it's going to take you 30 minutes. So it's a while. It takes a while. I think I'm most looking forward to seeing how this game implements the hybrid classes. My roots are in old. Yeah, me too. But that's going to be a bit. I really look forward to the Templar. That's my version of the cleric that I want to eventually play. That's cool. There's crafting gear. Yeah, no, you definitely want to get the gear. Um, it will help you with your experience gain. With no auction houses to buy resources, you can't make or get. Yeah, that's true too. No auction houses. Everything's regional. Until we have nodes specific to that are allowed us to have auction houses. I do know it will be a long time until. Oh yeah, see, I just got to keep watching down the lines, and you kind of I say what you say out already. Yeah, well, it'll be a long time for multi-classing for sure. Actually, phase 3, if you look through their phase 3 roadmap, it only mentions cleric and tank secondaries. It doesn't mention anything else. So it's going to be a bit. Shit, where am I at? I just lost my place. I wish they would show server populations. Yeah, they're not going to do that though. I'm convinced that's why they're not on Steam, because you can't, obviously on Steam you can see see who's been playing. So because they originally, I think, were going to be on Steam. Well, APOC was, right. Yeah, APOC was on Steam, so everybody got to see how bad APOC was, and I'm convinced that's why they decided to not be on Steam, because they don't want you to know the server pop numbers. Same for trees. Trees were a little bit easier to find. You had to go in some specific areas. Definitely all around Lionhold it was hard, but once you got a little bit out, you could find oak fairly often. What's up, Wizard? You've been putting in the stream hours. Yeah. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been covering we've been covering this game for 7 years, right? We've been doing Ashen Forge for literally 7 years. And so now that it's here, it's time to talk. Time to get to it. Get fun. Have fun. I have an internal goal, also a little bit of trying to make partners. So we'll see how that goes. But Yeah, trying to put in the hours. This is fun for me, just hanging out with y'all. Just hanging here talking shit. Um, it's been a fun experience, so we'll definitely keep going. I am going to have to figure out though, like when a more regular schedule. So I do think probably need to at least have one night a week where I'm not doing this sort of late night stuff right now. But we'll figure it out as we go. So, but this is the fun time for Ashes. This is what we've been waiting for. Um, are they ready for another attack? I hope. Yeah, it's a good question. No idea. We hope they are. Hopefully, I'm sure that's a big part of what they've been trying to figure out this week is how to not have a persistent, prolonged attack like that again. But we'll see. Got to level 8 mining. That's pretty good, actually. How did you do that? Did you just find an area? I think the furthest I got in pre-alpha 2 testing, I got some of the gathering skills up to 10. So nodes bugged out because they considered mobs. Mismatch is a 3 variable issue. Too many players in an area, respawn rate's too low, and not enough areas to farm drops. That's true. Yeah, I did leave out that third part. It's really weird too, because when you walk around the world, you see tons of mining places to mine, but all of them are too high. They're the next certification up, so that's why they're there. And everything you can mine is gone. It's actually kind of a pain in the ass, because some things look very similar. As example, basalt, say, and emeralds. They have largely the same sort of visual structure. Obviously, the color's different, but from afar, you can't really tell. So you're like, oh, something to mine, and you run up there, and it's a fucking emerald, and can't mine that shit because I don't have the certification for it. That's always painful. So most bugged out when the servers were attacked. That's possible too. But we noticed a lot, especially with mining. Mining was an issue from the start. So 95% of MMO players are gear progression oriented. I think Ash's main fall, but maybe gear progression if they don't get world bosses or world raids right. You can hate me, but look at all other MMOs. Every complaint or quit is usually over gear. If it's not available to the masses, it's over games pop. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of this. I think I said this a little bit earlier. There's a lot of Ashes that I think is going to be limited to small people, a small group of people. A lot of the experiences. Mayor is a great example, right? They're putting a lot of time and work into mayorships. And the reality is that is a system that very few people will actually ever play, will ever use. That's just it's just going to be a highly unique scenario, and I think there's a lot of instances of that. And so, similar to what you're talking about with sort of getting gear, um, I'm not saying that they should make things available to everyone, but this is just part of that interesting social experiment of this game to see who likes what. So, and who stays, who doesn't stay. Copper and iron look, yes, they also look a lot alike. That is very true. Halcyon is like 3/4 empty. Oh, it has no resources. I've really not run around that area too much. Iron and copper, yeah, has so much iron, but no copper. Yeah, it's always it sucks, right? It's a pain in the ass when you think that you're running up and you're about to harvest, and then it's nothing what you thought it would be. That always absolutely sucks. So, um, all right. Well, we got 10 hour. What's it? It's 10:35. So we got I don't know, 45 minutes. I'm actually almost out of blue moon. That's unusual. Let me see if I can get this running. I want to pull up. I've not watched this yet. Because I really haven't watched much of his stuff. But let's see if I can get this working. Oh shit, where'd it go? There we go. There. I need to make myself smaller though. Should I do what he does and cover his face with my face? Isn't that, oh wait, I just did that. Isn't that what he does? He makes it smaller. And so I can be Narc. Go to the right corner. Yeah, you want to, yeah, so you want to see his face. Is that what you're telling me? What's up, Trent? Yeah, I've been trying to go to about 11:30, something like that. All right, what is going on here? All right, there we go. So that's better. I wonder how he's gonna feel. Not bald enough. You know, he would always talk shit about me being bald. I'm getting a little I'm getting a spot here, but we all know why he shaves his head, so he can say what he wants. But all right, let me know. We're gonna see if the audio picks up. I think it should. I've not watched this, so this is his complete combat review. And this is the first time I'm doing a review like this. And yes, we have picked Narc. Don't know how that's going to go. I don't know if anybody else has watched this or not. I will say he's gotten very positive in his last videos. You know, now that the game is actually there, we've seen more positivity in what he's been putting out and saying. So I'll be curious to see if that is what's continued here. I assume it will be. So, all right, let me see if I can get this play to work. Shit. Wait a minute. Was the audio coming through? I don't think it was. Could you all hear him? Probably not. Probably not, because it's not coming through. So, all right. I thought I was trying to do it just through the OBS has an application audio capture, so I was just trying to capture it through the browser, but we'll just use the output instead, which should work as well. Oh shit, what's going on here? All right, there we go. Just got to unmute the shit. Difficult to pedal Doomium when everyone is having so much fun. Yeah, no, I think that's a part of it. I think he's also having fun. You know, so we've seen a lot of his stuff start to get a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes. All right, this should be. Why is nothing coming through? God damn it. This is why I've not done this before. All right, I think I know what's going on though. So let me check real quick. For some reason, OBS does not like to play nice with default stuff. So.
Hey, what up, boys? So now the post-Alpha 2 withdrawal symptoms are starting to kick in, people are already desperate to log back into Ashes of Creation. Me included, of course, and when the servers reopen on Friday, we'll continue our adventure over at twitch.tv/Narcoverse. But before we get into that, sit back, relax, and grab yourself a Kilpa Killer, because combat is our subject of discussion today. Combat, combat, combat. The main thing people care about in an MMORPG. So,
I am curious what he has. Is it too loud? Okay. I can't get it turned down on desk. All right, I'm gonna have to do a different thing. I am curious how what he's going to say about audio. You know, one of his first combat. That is something he focuses a lot. Here, let me try to turn this. All right, we'll see if this is better. For some reason, it's not letting me actually do the audio in OBS. Phantom X reacts to Narc's Ashes of Creation combat video. Yeah, I just turned it down, so we'll see if this works a little bit better. But my guess is he's going to say it's good, based off of just knowing him and watching him, and my guess is he'll probably provide some feedback, but that
I'll be giving you guys my opinions on the combat, the difficulty, and class design, supplemented by feedback from our community as well. Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we?
There we go.
Okay, so I'll preface this video by saying, listen, I get it, right? Combat is a highly sensitive topic, and opinions about what is good combat is always an extremely volatile discussion. We all come from different backgrounds and prefer different playstyles, and that's okay. Whether you think the combat is good or not is very important feedback for Intrepid to hear. However, it's important to state why the combat is the way that it is and what the game's intent is. Ashes of Creation is an open-world PvX MMORPG with high emphasis on group play and a trinity system. Therefore, it is very difficult for action-style combat like BDO or New World to work in a game like this.
So what does everybody with action combat? You know, that's something that obviously is not really in the game. I think he's going to be okay with that, by the way, but I don't know how everybody feels about that. You know, they were trying to go with this hybrid system, and really tab targeting works very well. You have action cam, which works okay with the fighter, but I don't know. I think that was also somewhat of a disappointment for a lot of people, is that the action combat's just not really there right now. You enjoyed the action cam on fighter? Yeah, I mean, it works okay. The ranger also, the action cam seemed to be okay. But I imagine he'll talk a little bit about how it's not really action combat. So, you know, he's played a lot of WoW. I played Rift with him. That's what I rated with him in. So, seemed fine for phase 1. Yeah, I just don't know that they're going to do much more with action combat. So.
That is why Ashes of Creation have settled on the combat it currently has. This is 3 years of hard work, listening and iterating on feedback that we all gave as a community during Alpha 1. And I, after finally getting my hands on it, can say without a shadow of a doubt that it has the potential to become one of the best combat systems currently on the market.
One of the best combat systems. I guess what would make it be best? I don't know what people are looking for it to be best. I guess he'll probably tell us, but I feel like there's too many opinions on that. My interpretation is it looks and feels like action combat, but plays like Tarb Tag. Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going for, which for the vast majority of people it's going to be fine. And they're, you know, the action cam, they're going to like it. There's some soft lock stuff you can turn on as well. You know, for the people that really want action combat, though, I think they're going to be a little bit disappointed. I'm not a fan of, played BDO for 10 years, and action combat becomes very hard on joints and hands over time. Yeah, I'm not sure action combat's the best for this type of an MMO, to be blunt. Rift, oh wow, that brings me back. Yeah, we had fun on Rift, actually. Again, I had fun raiding with him. I still don't know why he kicked me out of his guild, but it was fun. Wow, it was fun while it lasted.
It is essentially a combat system very similar to Guild Wars 2, except with some additions that improve the general impact split between 2 camera mode settings. The traditional tab targeting camera has a very familiar feel to it. It is essentially identical to World of Warcraft. However, the action camera mode, which locks your camera to your mouse, allows you to treat the game like it has action-style combat similar to Black Desert Online or New World. In addition, this camera mode also rebinds your weapon attack combo to your left mouse button and also allows you to block with your right mouse button. But we'll explain more about blocking in a moment, because combat actions in Ashes of Creation are broken into 3 categories.
So I do like the action cam, the fact that you have your auto attack left and your block right. That actually does work very well. That's probably the folks that have played the fighter. The auto attacks can get really weird outside of action combat. You definitely have to rebind the key. The default auto attack to Q, which is just really weird. You know, if you imagine, I don't know how many people use WASD and a mouse, but trying to move while also keeping your finger on auto attack is just really awkward. So I actually rebound that to the middle mouse button, just because it's easy to push. I also turned on the continuous auto attack, so it's off by default. Otherwise, you'd have to continuously press Q, 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 Q. The advice I always give: if you turn on auto attack, make sure that you're extremely careful. If you're purple, you will hit everyone around you. And I still say that auto attack and purple are going to cause some unintended conflict in the future. So be careful with that. Reminds me of ESO mouse controls and camera. Yeah. I mean, it works well for what it is. But again, I think people will be disappointed that really want more of an action style game. So, but as Steven always says, maybe this game is not for you, which actually drives me nuts that he says that. So, if you have an MMO mouse, one with all the buttons, it's nice. Yeah.
Degrees. Your primary way of attacking is through weapon combo attacks. Each weapon has its own combo that can be enhanced in various ways through the unique skill tree dependent on the weapon that you're currently using. In addition, as you progress the skill tree, each weapon has the opportunity to trigger a unique proc effect that applies various debuffs that complement your build. This proc effect has its own animation and triggers dynamically and naturally as you perform your attacks, something we've never seen in an MMORPG before. So I think it's worth bringing that up, as a lot of players have likely missed this and its potential. Currently,
yeah, that is important. Actually, one of the other things that for new players that you want to try to make sure you do, because you start out with a class specific weapon, right? But you can walk around the starting area and pick up all the weapons if you want. You know, as a cleric, I start out with the scepter, and so I'll pick up the shield, but then I'll also pick up the book. You really want to probably explore all of the weapons and see what their combos are, and what the finishers are. And actually, when you're in combat, you can switch weapons mid combat. So a lot of times you're probably going to want to look for combos and finishers that actually work well with your class and some of your spells. That I always give the cleric example. So I'll pull, God damn it, I always forget the name of the spell. There's a 3-4 second cast damage. I'll pull with that, and then I'll combo off with the spell book, and then I'll usually at that point hit with a smite, which all of that sets so all of it sets up burning, and then smite turns that to conflagration, which increases damage. And then I'll usually switch over to the scepter, so that I can get that weapon chain and combo off as well. So it is favorable typically for you to use more than one weapon during a single combat encounter. So I also turned on auto attack, but I pound attack to a Lycan Liege. I've never been much into League. I've been more into League side projects than League itself. I also use an E to strafe left and right. Yeah. But yeah, so weapon combos are important. Use multiple weapons, and try to just get things that synergize really well. So the I want to say mace, the scepter, for example, I use stagger. I get stagger, so it staggers the mobs, but that just helps play well with everything else. So keep that in mind.
in Phase 1 for Alpha 2, we have greatswords, scepters, maces, one-handed swords, short bows, long bows, and wands. However, as the phases progress, we're expecting additional weapons, such as one-handed axes, two-handed hammers, dual-wielding daggers, rapiers, staffs, and spears, with the possibility of more that are currently unannounced.
Milo's Rewards is here. Join for free
The hell
today
is
to
this?
unlock member perks from the
Why are we
palm of your
getting
hand.
ads and
With every
shit?
purchase,
Oh, yeah, it's
all
'cause I'm
members
not
earn
subbed to
points
them.
towards Milo's money. Get free gifts to bring home, member deals to get more projects done, and
All
free
right.
standard shipping.
Our second combat
Is
action
scepter already in game? Yeah. That's your starting for starting weapon for the cleric. So yeah, it's in game. Part of me, I'm sitting here smiling because part of me wants to do what he did last time to me and just sort of turn it off and say I'm bored. So because I'm kind of bored, but I think he's notorious for having a lot of his ads turned on too. So we'll see if that keeps happening.
is known as combat utilities. These are actions such as sprint, dodge, and active blocking that are governed by a stamina resource available to all archetypes. Dodging currently gives you a 100% chance to evade incoming attacks during its animation frames and costs you 50 out of your 100 total stamina. Blocking currently mitigates a specific percentage of damage depending on what weapon you're blocking with.
I'm kind of annoyed that he's got his picture down in the lower left corner and it's moving and he's talking, but it's not matching up with with the words that are actually coming through. Narc, there actually is a plugin for OBS that you can record each of your sources separately, so you don't have to have your picture down there. If you ever watch this.
Having the shield be the highest mitigation, costing you a percentage of your stamina every time you block. And finally, the sprint is a flat increase in movement speed at the cost of a slow stamina drain. These combat utilities also have a linear skill tree for each of their actions, greatly buffing them until it is eventually...
I don't know about this skill tree. How does everybody think about this skill tree? I've not found it super helpful. He's reacting to his own video. You know, the stamina skill tree, I don't know. I've not found it to be super helpful at this point. It feels a little lackluster. Yeah, I just actually the one he has highlighted there, escape velocity, is usually what I will put points into initially, just to be able to get away in combat. But it's not felt noticeable in any way to be helpful. I mean, I'm not blocking stuff actively typically either, so I'm not sure as a cleric how this aids me. Yeah, I just 100% actually. Now that you say that, that's my thought as well. I just don't understand this part of the skill tree. So hopefully with some extra work, it'll start to make more sense. They feel like bare bones. Hope they add more in the future, and it's bland. Yep, agree with all that. Sam and agree. It's probably I think it's the least useful out of all of these things. So you're a cleric main as well. Clerics unite. Cleric is the best class. Can I just say that I love the fact that, sorry, Sticky says, can I just say that I love the fact that they're adding magic swords and bows and stuff? That's pretty smart because it lets all classes use all weapons as they promised. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of interesting being able to, I will say the weapon skill trees are fun to play with because it's interesting to see what kind of combinations you can get. Again, trying to use multiple weapons. You know, I really do. I don't know why I use the book rather than the wand, but I choose the book. I wanted to try to use the bow with the cleric. I'm just not, last weekend, I spent all weekend basically healing parties. So I didn't really get a chance to play around with it, mixed matching stuff. The other one I wanted to look at was the spear. I was really super curious how that would play with a cleric, but I feel like people will choose 1 out of 3. So it just makes them levels, not a skill tree. Yep. The skill tree is like an Appalachian family tree. Maybe as Paladin Templar, it will have a function. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it needs definitely a lot of work still. Some J guy was crying about how bad the skill tree was for cleric. Who's that? I should watch that video. Jay, yeah, if you know the name. I don't think the skill tree is that bad. I'd be really curious. Actually, I want to watch that now. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's Halloween, so I don't know if we'll get on before Friday or not. I think the skill tree is just fine for cleric. You think it feels rough? Well, yeah, not many damaging spells till later. That's true. It is definitely not set up in the best way if you want to do a little bit more damage, or certainly as we get past sort of level 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's not a lot of damage to it the way it's currently structured. You can get some out of it, but for heals, I think it feels really good. I'm also limited to being solo at the moment. Well, what server are you on? I mean, we can find up a group. I was in an 8-man group Saturday it was full group L8, and we had four clerics, 2 bards, a ranger, and a mage, and it worked remarkably well. For as crazy as that sounds, that group makeup actually worked very well. So, what a spear for my fighter monk build. Yeah, sounds fun. If you're on, I'm on Vira, so I'll just say if you're ever on Vira, I'll be more than happy to group up with you. Just hit me up whenever you see me. I'm Phantom X everywhere. FANTMX. Yeah, I use the 2-hand sword as the mage. That's another one that I thought would be interesting to play around with that I just haven't. What's up, Sumner? Looking forward to playing AOC. That's really, yeah, AOC, it's finally here for testing. So, do you have access on Friday? That's when we get to come back up. Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, I think is what everybody said. So, most of my group dropped when the $120 $120 tag was dropped, so we got 4 people. Well, if I can even stay connected, I'll probably find one. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're in the PTR. Okay. Yeah, it was. But they had a lot of shit turned on, right? I think they were doing a lot of bug checking. That's why it got so bad. All right, I will look for Cupcake. Yeah, Vira is the best. Definitely, Eric. It is the best. It's where all the coolest people go. So stay away from Resna, stay away from Lineth. I'm in the Loreforge Guild. We're on Vira. We have been going pretty hard. I'm sure the gang would be down to. Yeah. I'm happy. I'll play with anybody. I'm in Genesis with Rive and Richie right now, but yeah, if y'all see, I mean, now one of the funnest parts about all this, one of the coolest parts of all this, is just sort of the people when you're playing that sort of recognize the show Ashen Forge, and they're like, "Hey, what's up?" And that's been a lot of fun. That's been kind of unexpected, but that's a lot of fun to have that happen, and then also to actually group up with them and play. So, I've been testing this for a while, so I'm just ready to kind of play around with everybody. So that kind of sounded dirty, but you know what I mean. Speaking of PTR, they just posted saying they need help right now. I'm surprised it's still up. Oh yeah, the team is currently testing server stability, would like some assistance. If you can make your way to create a character in Lionhole, please do so. Well, I'm sitting here with all you wonderful people though, so guess I can't really help out right now. Yeah, Loreforge guys are great, so I'll be curious to see what they end up doing with their guild. I think they closed. They're not taking any new members, right? I think I saw they reached 50. What's up, Fireplay? How's it going? It's good to always see you at these late night streams. All right, we still got Narc's face up here, so I'm just gonna hit play. They are by application. But yeah, I think that the stamina tree right now is just very, very lackluster, and sometimes I forget to even spend the points.
Essentially maxed out. I suspect this particular skill tree has a lot more work to go before it is in a good state. And finally, we of course have the most important part of the game, the archetype you choose when you create your character. This is a static choice and cannot be changed, much like traditional MMORPGs like World of Warcraft or Guild Wars 2. Most of the archetypes in the game have a class resource or unique mechanic that they play around. For example, the cleric has divine power, which can be customized to either instantly cast their spells or to reduce the mana cost for a choice of either speed or efficiency. Each archetype has a huge amount
something
of spells to choose between, and every class has a unique skill tree with passives.
So one of the things that drives me nuts about the cleric, and I don't think it's like this with everything else, is that very bottom row there that he has 1 of 1. You know, your sort of special cleric sauce, whatever it is. I absolutely dislike that you have to choose that with your first skill point. I hate the fact that you have to choose that with your first. Damn, you got it before him. Oh, thanks for hanging out with. Thank you for hanging out with us. Yeah. I'll be on this weekend, so appreciate you for hanging out though. Have a good one. Have fun at work. I assume that's where you're going at 4 a.m. Yeah, the special cleric sauce. It's getting a little late here, so I'm forgetting some of my words. So we'll just say special cleric sauce. But I do hate number 1 that you even have to spend a skill point for it. And I hate number 2 that you have to do it first. That because you have to pick that. You can't choose any other skill. You have to choose whether you're going to use, what is it, the one that it makes it instant cast or gives you extra mana, basically. I really dislike the way that's set up. So I really don't think you should have to spend skill points for it. It's my personal opinion, but yeah, I'm gonna remember that now. Special cleric sauce. Would be cool if there was always a choice. Yep. Would be nice to not be forced to essentially waste a point. I mean, that's what it feels like. That's 100% what it feels like. So it makes that first skill point pretty much pointless, because you're also not going to use that, right? Your first, I mean, you're going to use that for a while. There's no reason to. Your mana management is just fine for like your first 10 levels. Like there's no reason to even put the skill point into it, but they make you do it. So Narc likes to play cleric. That's why he is going over the cleric. I did have someone say that over the weekend, and I don't know if they were just blowing smoke up my ass, but that I played the cleric much better than he did on stream. So that gave me a smile. So but yeah, anyways, I hope they change that, because that pisses me off. That makes reaching level 2 a pain in, like, not fun. Because usually it should be, I'm level 2, I can pick a new skill, I can get a new heal, I can get a new damage spell or something. But nope, you got to pick from this stupid shit. So just let us point dump if we want to increase the potency, not just, just not waste points. Exactly.
That further enhance the...
Although I guess there's something to be said that if that feels like a waste, that maybe it's just even a bad mechanic. Like if I'm so frustrated about having to do that I'm pausing a video and talking about it, you know, maybe it's just not designed well. So you're clipping that out of context. All right, go right ahead. I mean, your name seems to, like, you know, I feel like you do a lot out of context, maybe in context too. I don't know. It's always been a bad mechanic. Yeah, it also doesn't feel very powerful either. So, you know, an instant cast, or, you know, or you get some extra mana. Like it just doesn't feel, it's not a noticeable thing. You know, it's not like you hit a button and all of a sudden you feel extra powerful. It just seems, I don't know, it just seems like a waste of a skill. So anyways.
The spells that you've unlocked. Currently, the game is capped at level 25, with a plan to eventually go up to level 50. So, expect the current roster of progression to double at least, with further customization based on feedback given. In addition, augments are another layer of progression that will eventually be available to all archetypes and allows you to multi-class.
Eventually. Let's see if he comments on how long it's going to take. Augments are going to be a long while, so a long while.
To enhance the roster of skills within each archetype's spellbook. We do not currently fully understand the extent of the augments, and it is currently not in development until the rogue and summoner are fully in the game. So, now that we understand what the combat is and how it works, let's move on to my feedback and impressions. I chose to play a cleric and got to level 12 during our 2 days of playtime. This was mostly achieved through grinding with a group of 8 in various high-density spots with minimal amounts of 2- and 3-star elites.
I also want to say his guild has some really good members too. So he again, to give him some positivity, Narc is a really great guild raid leader. And he also does have some really good people in his guild. So some of them are pains in the ass, but he actually has some pretty good folks in there to play with, which I actually do miss playing with them. So yeah.
Sadly, the desync of the game right now really hinders the feel of the combat, simply because the mobs do not react in a way that feels natural, like you'd see from our currently popular MMORPGs. That is okay, of course, as Phase 1 is mainly focused on these networking issues. But because of this and a few elevation exploits, mob AI right now is definitely...
Although I want to point out, they're wasting time on 1-starred monsters here. That's pretty weak. Like, they could have done better than that. What level are they here? They're fighting a level 5 1-star bear. Like, go find some some 3-star shit, man. Like, really get into it. It's out there. Go get some 3-star, really challenge yourself.
Far from an ideal place. However, the difficulty and damage that people take seems to be in a pretty decent spot, especially when 1- or 2-star elite mobs get involved, hence why we try to avoid them despite their massive amount of experience reward. I find people running out of mana in a fairly reasonable amount of time, with options to sustain through their class kit and assistance from the cleric or bard. However, I've also seen many complaints about the regeneration out of combat being very tedious. This is due to the current available rations from vendors only regenerating 25% of resources per 10 seconds, requiring players to consume multiple...
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. The only positive to that is that buying that stupid ass food is cheap. Like, you can load up on a lot of it and it's not really going to cost much. But it is, I agree with him there. It's a pain in the ass. You know, It's also a really weird bug. You have to buy it in like 20s at a time. If you try to buy more than 20, it gives you an error. How many stars did the mobs go up to? 3, I believe, at this point. We were fighting level 3 in Highwayman Hills. There's a really nice grind spot. They were levels, I think, 12 and 13, 3 stars. And we had a group of 8 doing that at level 9. So thanks for hanging out. Noso, we appreciate you. Have a good evening or morning or night or whatever it is, wherever you're at. So if you're in a group of 8, you can tend to fight things that are much higher above you. So don't get too scared about that. I don't know for all of you that have played my cleric mains in here, how you feel about mana. I'd be very curious. In Node Wars, mana management was a pain in the ass, and that was the feedback we gave to them, that we felt like we ran out of mana a lot. But this weekend, specifically having a bard. So when you have a bard in, and once you have blessed weapon, and you have blessed weapon maxed out on the skill tree, I never went out of mana. Like never ran out of mana. I never even got down to half. I think I was generating like 11 or 12 per tick between the bard buff and my own. So I'm curious when he says, well, I guess I don't know what level they are here. He mentioned that mana, people were running out of mana. I guess bard songs aren't going to overlap either, so it's not super helpful to double up on that. And probably at the level they're at, they would not really have had access to blessed weapon. So that is my guess as to why he's commenting on mana.
Multiple of them in order to get back to full. I myself ditto this feedback,
so
as it does feel pretty clunky to consume multiple rations per regen session. I would love to see them increase the amount a single ration regens to 75% over 30 seconds, and giving the higher level rations available through the cooking artisan skill, regenerating that same 75% in less time, like 25 seconds, 20 seconds, or 15 seconds, depending on the tier of artisan who crafted it. This, I think, enhances the grind playstyle by removing an unnecessarily tedious aspect without breaking the cadence of taking a short break to regenerate. As for the combat feel itself, well, I am very pleased with how Intrepid have built the core of their combat design. Weaving spells in between weapon combo attacks feels very polished, much like Guild Wars 2, as the spells and attacks in Ashes of Creation are not global cooldown based, they are animation based. All I would say is that the UI...
Can I just say I'm an idiot because he had his, I mean, I can see what level he's in at the bottom of the screen. I think I'm getting old. I'm tired. I almost said old. I'm old too, but
itself just feels like it's missing a little bit of feedback after you use an ability. I would love to see a global cooldown style effect presented on your hotbar spells that reflect the time of the last ability you used. For example, if Brutal Cleave is only a 0.9 cast time as presented on the tooltip, place a 0.9 global cooldown on your abilities to represent that. Overall, the class design based off of people's feedback has been generally positive, with only really the tank and...
Yeah, I will say in general, everything positive that I'd heard from the weekend was the combat. And that's what I've also said all along. The one thing that they've gotten down right now is combat. Combat feels in a really good place, and really a pretty good place for all of the classes. I think that's also important, that you don't just have one or two that feel good, that most of them feel good for the people that want to play them. And I would hope that it would feel good after they've been doing this for what, 5-6 years of development of combat, something like that. I mean, they've been working on combat for a very, very long time. And it's paying off, I think. So
Ranger receiving heavy critique. The Bard, in particular, has received huge amounts of praise across the board by players playing them and players grouping with them, complimenting the playstyle and utility that they offer. If Intrepid can bring the
mobility, in my opinion, the mobility of the Bard is what makes it fun. You have a lot of variation in the songs and stuff it uses, but the thing that makes the Bard fun is just the amount of movement that you can weave in and out of playing. So he talked about combat being animation based. Then is there any kind of animation canceled to ramp up DPS, kind of like other games? You can reset your auto attack. Yeah, you can. Like I said, as a cleric, I'll sit back and I have auto attack going, but it all cancels out when I start. I can cancel things out. Yes. No. So keys again. Keys are going to be through Twitch right now. We'll try to do YouTube stuff on Extra Life Weekend, which is this weekend. But it's Friday morning. So again, I'll draw for keys Friday morning at between 9 a.m. 10 a.m. Central Time. The reason we're doing it Friday morning is because if I wait, Friday is actually the last you can get in on the first wave. So if we wait, then any key I give away is going to be for the second wave, which will not start until December 20th, supposedly.
The other 5 archetypes up to the Bard level, the game's class design will be in a very good place to build upon. I think Intrepid have done a good job with most of the archetypes, with a couple of them just lacking in the identity department.
Wait, is he's just taking Discord comments from his own guild? Is that what this is? He's talking about the good positive feedback and shit. I'm pretty sure all these people are his guild people. So this is from his own Discord, unless I missed some. Good thing I'm sick from school. I can probably look at yeah. We'll try. Right now we're doing 1 key. We'll try to do more than 1 if I can. So everything we get from like ads and subs and stuff on YouTube and Twitch just gets turned right back around into keys. So we gave away 3 on Sunday.
This is mainly towards the Mage and Ranger in the hopes that their class mechanic gets further fleshed out to represent their role and also with unique UI elements that enhance their moment-to-moment play.
So I'm thinking he asked everyone to provide their feedback so he could put it into this video. That's my thought here. I'm no longer in his Discord, so but he also has his own special section for the Copium Kitty Club. So
my only real critique with the cleric really is that it.
Do you really think that most of his fans don't believe in the game? I'm not so sure about that. I feel like a lot of them are just sort of echoing him, that it's just sort of the feel good pile shit on somebody, right? I'm not saying that's a good thing, but because I equally think that a lot of those people that have talked shit, that if he sits and I've also not really watched his streams anymore, that if he starts really being positive in his streams, I think you're going to also see a lot of his people that watch become more positive too. I think they just kind of follow the leader.
Doesn't seem to.
He has done really well, by the way. I don't know if anybody keeps up with Narc. I think over the weekend he had 2,000 people watching him, something like that, 1,500, which his streams are normally what, 300-400. So he has done very, very well over the weekend. So congrats to him for that.
To represent both the life and death aspects that the team originally alluded to. I would love to see the cleric have some more death-style spells added to its roster to contrast the healing and give it a bit more utility for controlling or dealing damage. Spamming weapon attacks is generally not very interesting for an archetype, and I do feel like we've evolved beyond the era of healers just being healers. They should contribute to damage and control if they can.
Wait, what's he talking about? Healers should contribute to damage and control? I mean, that's like the tank that wants to do all the DPS. Like, it's a specific class. I don't know why we would want a cleric doing everything. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me.
Giving them more options through death magic would be a considerable improvement to the archetype, as the healing portion, I feel, is in a great place at the moment. My favorite spell is, by far, the Flash Heal, which is a 3-charge instantaneous spell that is off the global cooldown. It feels...
Yes, that is one of the better spells that he just mentioned. It is off global cooldown. You do have charges if you spec into it. It's sort of your oh shit spell. You know, you're trying to cast a bigger, ground spell or an AoE spell, and your tank drops. You know, it's your oh shit, I got to do something spell, and it works very well. So I couldn't find it, but was there an auto attack, or do I need to burn a hole in my Q key? No, you can set on auto attack. It's in the you have to go in settings. It's, I think, in settings, maybe under combat. I'd have to look at it. But yeah, you can turn it on. So, and I would, it's just that you have to be very careful. If you ever go purple with auto attack, you will hit everyone around you. So just keep that in mind. You could potentially go corrupt if you accidentally kill people that you don't mean to. I've done that before. That's why I always laugh and say that auto attack's going to start a lot of wars, because people are going to accidentally start swinging and hit other people. So finally, support's getting recognized. Yeah, I wish they had more utility type stuff, support stuff. You know, I of course grew up with EverQuest, so you know we have things like the Enchanter and stuff like that. You know, so I wish they had more. I mean, I'm glad they have the Bard and they have the Cleric doing their thing, but I wish they had a little bit more utility stuff and support stuff built in. It's you know, I don't know, maybe sometime later. Ooh, EQ, yeah, EQ, man, that's the nostalgia right there. Played that from 99 to 2004, and then jumped into EQ2, and then in like 2005 went to WoW. So, but yeah, there's a lot of great class design early on that people haven't really replicated much, which I don't understand why. The Enchanter being one of them. So, I don't really necessarily, I don't want like the Cleric having CC and all this stuff myself, but you know, if they don't have other classes to take it up, then I guess we can try to work it in. I would rather have encounters be so difficult that your clerics just have to work on healing. Like that's challenging. Managing your mana, managing your heals, like that should be the challenging part. Not also having to weave in damage and CC. Now maybe you spec things a little bit different, so you get more damage and CC at the expense of heals. I mean, that's fine. It's just a different way to play. I was short-lived, but fun. Yeah, I had fun in that as well. Summoner should bring some support also. Yeah, I think so. We asked him that, Bill, on Sunday. Asked Steven. Actually, it was somebody in the community wanted us to ask, since there are, you know, summoners have the tank, tank cleric, and what is it, fighter? Oh, sorry, tank. Yeah, tank DPS and heals summons. Would they have a support summons? And Steven basically said yes. He didn't go completely into a full yes, but basically said yes. So I'm still wanting to know why the summoner had to have the mount system set up before they could work on the summon. I understand having the pet system, that you need that working before you can work on the summoner. I really want to know why they needed the mount system also working. So it kind of sounds to me like the summoner's going to be pretty fucking badass, basically. I played EQ in 98. This does remind me of that game in a way. Oh, you went to Star Wars Galaxies. Yeah, that's also, SWG is also, actually, I don't know if I can get it to where you can see it. So, let me see. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that, right? Star Wars Online. So actually, this is some of the original design documents for what they called, you can't see that, can you? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Anyways, these are some of the original, this is the original design document for what would become Star Wars Galaxies. So it's one of my more prized possessions for gaming memorabilia that I have. Because it's tied to husbandry and mount systems. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Feels very good to press due to its output and responsiveness. Finally, I also want to allude to a forum post made by another
I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea. I'm just a random dude. Were you involved in Source Galaxies devs? No, I did meet developers later, so I won't say who I got some of my stuff from, but I also have a lot of EQ stuff as well. Probably the weirdest shit. I have a horseshoe set that's EverQuest themed from Lucklin, and a bunch of other shit, but that's probably the weirdest thing I have EverQuest was. But I also have somewhere, oh, it's up over here. I have some of the art, some of the starter stuff that they put up for each of the races and stuff like that over here as well. So I have both those things.
fellow cleric way back when the NDA was first released, explaining how he feels like the divine power mechanic doesn't feel very good. As I have only been grinding brainless goblins, I cannot confidently say that I've fully grasped the potential of divine power. However, I will say this, the cleric has so much more potential, and I really genuinely feel like they could do so much better if they tapped into the death magic. I imagine a really cool mechanic for the cleric could be a push and pull between life and death, very similar to the balance druid in World of Warcraft. And as I play more and learn more about the cleric throughout future weekend tests, I'll be sure to do a deep dive about it in the hopes Ashes of Creation can create a healer that truly stands above all other MMORPGs. But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO, and my opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. And hey, still plenty more to milk for the first weekend, including Soda Poppins, little...
Wait, so the complete combat review, that's the title here, right? Ashes of Creation complete combat review is just the cleric. So it is very much complete. We're going to end it there. That was okay, Narc. I'm not here to overly criticize. He has good speech. He has good speech pattern. He writes really good scripts too. So, when does Ashes go live this week? Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, assuming they make their time. You know, last Friday it was also supposed to go 10 a.m. and it went 1 p.m. Pacific time. So, we will be live here. I will start probably streaming. So I'll try to keep it Pacific time. I'll start streaming around probably 6 a.m. Pacific time, something like that. So I'll just use I'm trying to convert in my head and it's getting fucked up. I'm at Central Time Zone, so I'm going to start around 8 to 9 a.m. Central. And for me, it'll go live. The go live is noon if they stick to the 10 a.m. So we'll actually have a pretty long stream just leading up, and then play some game together. And like I said, if any of you end up on Vira, that sounds so unnatural to say Vira. I still want to say Vera. Hit me up as Phantom X everywhere, and I'm happy to join some groups and heals. I felt like I was really getting the whole handle of heals over the weekend, so it felt pretty good. Wish I had the opportunity to play Star Wars Galaxies. I mean, you still can. You still can on they're actually some pretty good private servers up that have also been creating their own content. So it's out there if you want to try it. But yeah, I actually had Smedley, John Smedley, who ran SOE forever, created it and ran it. He also, I had him look at it just to make sure. And it actually is their design docs. So it's pretty cool to look through, actually. I've had people try to get me to scan everything and upload it, but it's a big document. So I have not done that. So going to have to re-roll on Vera. Yeah. In Genesis, yeah, you can. I think Genesis is still accepting people too. The problem right now is just that 50-player cap. That's kind of a pain in the ass. They really need to increase the number of people we can put in a guild. I know a bunch of us were trying to go Vira. We went EU just to get in. Yeah. Although, Vira has largely had a pretty stable. Well, it went down last Saturday for like 45 minutes. Other than that, it's been pretty stable. If it's not wiped, I'm there in New Ayla. Sounds good to me. Yeah, you can all just look me up. All right, Narc, that was okay. But the complete combat review only having a cleric seems a little bit disappointing. You did cover, some of the combat mechanics and things, but it's what I expected, though. I think I told you he plays a cleric, so that's kind of what I thought he would do. Play that cleric. Guild aside, no matter, prefer US server than EU. Yeah. We got good people on it too. Most of the content creators that I know are on Vira. So Genesis 2 guild incoming. I'm actually in, what is it? Genesis Beta is the name of my guild. Because I'm considered more casual PvE, less PvE. I'm not hardcore and I'm not like super PvP. So I'm in Genesis Beta. So well, it is getting to be about my time. 11:30 is usually when I cut off. So that I can go to bed and get some sleep for work tomorrow. So honestly, the EU ping was not noticeable. I've not created a character over on that at all. I was lucky enough to get into pretty quickly into Vira and pretty much stayed. So I didn't have to worry too much about queues and all that shit. Although initially we almost had to. Initially, I've told this already several times, but initially when we logged in last Friday, I was stuck in a group of people and couldn't move, couldn't get out at all, couldn't roll out, couldn't jump out. And I did not want to go into the queue because everybody was talking about already how terrible the queue was. And so my solution to that problem was to kill the people around me, go corrupt, and let the guild guards kill me, so that I would respawn somewhere else. And it did work. I still feel bad that, you know, there's probably one or two people, their very first experience in Vera was somebody PKing them. So sorry, but it had to happen. All right, guys, I am probably going to, I am going to cut out for the night. It's getting late here. There's no one, I don't think, streaming. I don't think there's anyone streaming Ashes. I'm usually like the latest person. Actually, wait, we got Tangent. Tangent's up. Hold up. Is he watching? Is he there? Yeah, we'll send you to Tangent. Tangent, I've known for a long time, been in the community for a long, long time. So we can raid there. I like to spread the love around. The community, this community is fucking amazing. It just is. So we want to share as much as we can with everybody. You know, having been in this community 7 years, it's just a really, really fucking great group of people, and a lot of great content creators, a lot of great people. So so we're going to share the love. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. Tomorrow is Halloween here in the States. And my kids, I have 2 kids, so we'll probably be doing some Halloween stuff. Now, granted, I tend to stream late, so there's still the potential that I stream. But if I do not stream tomorrow, then I'll be on, like I said, Friday morning, sort of 8 a.m. ish Central, and we'll just start shooting the shit. No costume stream. I don't have a costume, Shipples. I'd have to come up with something. I guess I could wear a white coat and just be a doctor. I don't know where my stethoscope is, though. I've not needed to use a stethoscope in years, so I don't know that I have all the shit. I could just do body paint, but that would be disgusting. So, anyways, I'm going down a late night, tired sort of ramble here. So, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me tonight. And like I said, if I'm not here tomorrow, we'll be up Friday morning and really all through the weekend. So my time does change a little bit on weekends to be a little bit earlier in the day of the morning, but I'll be Friday pretty much nonstop. So, all right, guys, I'm going to send us over to Tangent, and yeah, I appreciate y'all. And we will be seeing you in a day or two. It's almost here. Yeah, I feel like it was just Monday, and we were all like, "Damn it, we really want Ashes." So we're almost there. Just another 2 days, day and a half. And if there, you know, anyways, I'm gonna keep rambling. So we're just gonna send y'all over. Y'all have a good night. Have a good Halloween if you celebrate. And I'll see y'all later.